Never has the road to Omaha looked like this one.
Look out, Omaha. Here comes Troy. Back-to-back jacks for the Rebels. Hume Country Roads.
Absolute chaos. But there's still something about this place that brings the mayhem.
Guess who just got back today? Them wild-eyed boys that had been away.
Troy and West Virginia are brand new. Ole Miss, hoping to dig up some 2022 magic. Facing a North Carolina team that was back on its heels.
He's going back to Omaha.
We're not done yet, so we're looking to win this whole thing.
Oh my gosh, I'm actually here. And it's one of the craziest things and craziest feelings I've ever felt.
This is the pinnacle of college baseball.
The best 8 are here.
Now that the boys are here again. The boys are back in town. Boys are back in town.
Welcome to the 2026 Men's College World Series.
Omaha. It's the only word you have to say this time of year, and everyone knows exactly what you're talking about. The Men's College World Series, the meeting spot for a melting pot of teams that have survived a gauntlet to be one of the final 8 standing. North Carolina came out of the Chapel Hill Super Regional down by 2 in the 8th inning of a decisive game when Owen Hull cracked his 4th double of the day in the bottom of the 9th to deliver the game-winning run. And Ole Miss, hoping 26 looks a lot like 2022 when they won it all. Will Furness follows in his father's legendary footsteps. Tonight, the past meets the present with a future champion to be crowned. We have 8. We've got 1 in the books. West Virginia, they get a big 2-out clutch 2 RBI single in the 8th, and they end up beating Troy 7-5 to take game 1. The other 2 games will be played tomorrow. We get set here for Ole Miss and North Carolina. Chris Burke, Kyle Peterson, soon to be joined by Chris Budden, and our rules analyst is Scott Klein. He's here as well for any questions we may have. As this sport grows in popularity, KP, it feels even more special every year to get here.
Yeah, it's pretty good right now. I mean, we get 2 first-timers to get things going. Let's just go ahead and steal home in the first inning, get everything going. The right side of the bracket's the SEC invite. That starts tomorrow. We have queued Country Roads, and we got Hottie Toddy and the Diamond Hills to finish off a great day 1.
We sure do. ACC, SEC. Let's talk a little bit about North Carolina. Scott Forbes, the only team that's been here twice in the last 3 years. They have some stars, and Owen Hull is certainly the guy that really runs it.
Yeah, we talk a lot about North Carolina's pitching, but Owen Hull, the star in the 3-hole, is the reason the Tar Heels find themselves right here. 81 RBIs. You look at the leaderboard here at the CWS. He's the only one that doesn't have 20 homers to get to that 80 RBI plateau. He leads the country with batting average with runners in scoring position. He is Captain Clutch. He is the reason they are here from an offensive standpoint.
Hard to do with only 7 homers, but it also means they're on base a lot, which this team does. For more on Hull, let's go down to the field and say hi to Chris Budden.
Ravi, what a hit, what a moment Owen Hull had on Sunday to be able to walk it off and send his team here to Omaha. But when you talk to the team before he even made contact with that ball, standing there at Boshamer Stadium, they all knew something magical was about to happen.
1 out, nobody on, we're down 3-2.
Crowd started to get really loud, and I could feel something in my chest.
But once I saw that ball land, just sprinted out of there. Bosch magic is real. It sounds very corny, but I genuinely believe it's real.
I've never seen so many people crying after a win.
We found a way, and there was some Bosch magic.
Fans bring it. It was really special to have so many people there cheering, and it's just something you feel.
Guys, if you try and get Hull to tell you in detail what it felt like to make that hit and run around the bases in the celebration, he can't do it because he was in what he calls the O-zone, which basically meant he completely blacked out. That's part of the O-zone fanfare that there is to be part of Owen Hull.
Yeah, Omaha can produce a few O-zone moments, and I'm sure we'll see some over the next week and a half. For Ole Miss, 2022, win it all. Then a couple of down years, and all of a sudden, here they are again. Can they repeat what they did in 22?
Well, there are some similarities when you look at this team as opposed to the last. Record in the SEC close, about the same. Then they were the last team in. They were not this year. They had to go on the road for both the regionals and the supers. Started in Lincoln, went to Auburn, ended up here. They could pitch it both years and can really pitch it this year. So now the question is, what does it look like when the season ends. But for now, there are similarities between the two clubs.
It is a gorgeous night. The wind is blowing in. We got power arms who like to punch people out. Taylor Rabe for Ole Miss. And Jason DeCaro, who is only coming off of the best start of his career. First pitch coming up when we come back. Series presented by Capital One and the Emerald Diamond that is right near downtown Omaha, Charles Schwab Field. And the crowd is filing in on just a gorgeous night. We take a look at the Ole Miss batting order. It's brought to you by Capital One. The wind has been in and out all day. The top three in this order are very capable. In fact, the top four of hitting the ball out. Hayden Federico's been as hot as anybody.
Yeah, he leads them in batting this postseason. How about we talked about the similarities between the Reds this year and in 22? It was Tim Elko in 22. It's Judd Utermark this year, the all-time program record holder for long balls.
Ole Miss is 5-0 in the postseason. All five of those have been away from home.
This guy's been pretty good in the postseason, and a big reason why North Carolina's here. 2 years ago, when North Carolina was here, Jason DeCaro threw the opening game as a freshman for North Carolina. Now 2 years later, it was him that, well, he won a must-win against Southern Cal. Did not allow a runner to reach second base in a complete game win in game 2. They went on to game 3. Now DeCaro out there again tonight. It's a fastball in the low 90s, 2 different breaking balls, but a guy that knows his way around the postseason and knows his way around this ballpark as well.
Yeah, he was 17 back then. They have a whole bunch of arms. In fact, both of these teams have great arms in case any of the starters get in trouble. You got to lose twice here before you are sent home, and obviously to get into the winner's side right away gives you a enormous advantage. You got a couple of real lifers when it comes to the head coaches on both teams, and Scott Forbes, his second trip as a head coach, but 9th time on the staff. 5-7 North Carolina in College World Series opening games, and there is Mike Bianco, 42-15 this season. 7th time in program history they've made it to the College World Series. And we are just about set. Just a picture-perfect night for baseball. Dom Decker will lead things off. He is the second baseman batting from the left side. And that is a fastball at 94, letter high. Swing and a miss and underway. Transfer from Murray State, team that knocked him out a few years ago. He is a junior at 272. And another one in the air to left. Tyler Howe is under it, and there is one out. Howe is out there and left, but behind DeCaro, you got Cooper Nicholson at third base. Jake Schaffner, who's been outstanding, has made only 3 errors all year at shortstop. Gavin Gallagher leads the nation in defensive runs saved. He plays second. Eric Paulson is at first. He hasn't committed an error. Behind the plate is Colin Heineck. Howe's in left. Owen Hall, the guy we talked a lot about, is in center, and Carter French is in right. And here comes Judd Utermark as the infield shifts, puts 3 on the left side for the big bomber. And looks at one way high. The senior out of Charlotte, North Carolina. He is the first of 3 consecutive seniors in this lineup, and the all-time home run hitter in Ole Miss history. Gets the call on the outside corner for a strike. A bit of a feast or famine, kind of a 20-26 hitter with a whole bunch of strikeouts and a whole bunch of power. And he nearly leaned into one.
Hey, if you're Jason DeCaro, you got to be happy to see the wind change throughout the course of the day. We woke up this morning, the wind was blowing out. We start the ball game today, the wind blowing pretty stiffly right into the hitter's face. So nice night to be a pitcher.
2-1, chased that slider. In talking with him yesterday, he said, you know, this is kind of Aaron Judge approach, right? I mean, slider away. And he said, I'm okay with the strikeouts. Like, I'm not paid to put the ball in play. That's not what I do.
So there's 2 strikes right now. That swing is not going to get cut down. It's the same approach.
That's who he is. And he's gone on a fastball. And for the 81st time this year against 40 walks, he strikes out.
A little giddy up tonight for DeCaro now. A couple sliders in that. Lost the first one. Second one was good. Then just came back and pumped 94 right by him. Pretty good carry on the fastball from DeCaro. 2 quick outs for the right-hander so far.
So nobody on for the 3-hole hitter, Will Furnace, one of the heroes of the Super with the big late homer. He recently just ended a 28-game on-base streak, and that first one from DeCaro is down. Talked about his dad, Eddie, a couple of national championships in Nacogdoches, Texas, now a doctor. As the second baseman, Gallagher plays to pull. That's out of play.
Yeah, Owen Hall, we talked about Owen Hall and the clutch hit he got. Will Furnace had the hit for Ole Miss. A 2-run homer when that ball game was tied. His only hit of the Super Regional, one they will remember forever in Oxford.
This one is on the ground. Couple of hops to the second baseman. Gallagher up and over, and a good inning for DeCaro. Well, we've talked about him. You'll get a chance to see him. Last time he played, he had 4 doubles and walked it off for Carolina.
Regional with USC back on their heels, but fought their way back to Omaha.
He's going back to Omaha!
A program whose College World Series history is lengthy, legendary, but lacking in rings. Perhaps this trip, North Carolina's 13th, will finally be lucky.
Yeah, open for a first. Only Florida State's been here more often without having a champion. And we take a look at the Tar Heels batting order. It's brought to you by Capital One. They strike out about 211 fewer times than Ole Miss does. This is a put the ball in play, get on base, and make things happen offense.
Yeah, and they are highlighted by their dude right there in the middle. 47 hits with runners in scoring position. But as you said, Rav, Schaffner and Gallagher do a fantastic job of setting the table.
There doesn't appear to be a lot of nerves there as we take a look at another guy. And by the way, DeCaro's velocity was up a couple of ticks. This guy lives in the upper 90s.
Yeah, average fastball velo this year for Raves right at 96. Kid that started the year in the bullpen. They pushed him into the rotation. Tommy John a couple of years ago. Draft eligible this year, and he is at his best. The walks and the strikeouts are not a misprint. It's 11 walks and 70 in the third. He's punched out 98. Mid-90s fastball and a cutter that he's really been leaning on.
One of the games within the game, right? I mean, the North Carolina ability to be pesky at the plate and maybe draw walks if they can against a guy that doesn't walk anybody.
Yeah, I don't think your plan with Rabe can be to be overly patient. You're going to find yourself in an 0-2 count quite a bit.
Jake Schaffner leads things off, and Rabe's first one is a fastball at 97 miles an hour. Carolina does get off to fast starts this year. They've got 73 runs in the first inning to lead the field of 8, 7th most in the nation. Schaffner steps in, hitting .358. 0-1 on the inside corner. Great location for a kid whose development is impressive. I mean, when you think about where he was, KP, to start this season to the fact that he's starting game 1 in Omaha.
Yeah, there was a lot of dreams. They just weren't quite sure exactly what they were going to get out of Rave, and the dreams have come to fruition here at the end of the year.
"16 appearances on the season. 10 of those games were starts, so he's obviously come out of the bullpen. 5-3, 371. His last 3 games, 19 innings, 11 hits, 30 strikeouts. There you go. A good example of a good take.
That's that cutter that he's been really leaning on here down the stretch. And if North Carolina is going to be able to wait him out and create some traffic, they've got to be able to lay off that cutter.
Lineup has 6 juniors to start for Carolina. 2-2.
99.
Old 99er for you right there. I'd say the stuff plays.
Spoils another one that was elevated at 98.
It's really an interesting matchup here between these two. Both players find themselves jumping up draft boards here as we get closer and closer to the draft. Rabe kind of mysteriously is like a top 80-ish prospect, and Schaffner starting to get some buzz around the end of the first round. But I think both these guys with a big showing here could find themselves called in the top 30 picks.
Another 2-2, and he rolls another one over foul. Let's talk about the top Major League Baseball prospects at the World Series. Cade Townsend. These are guys at the World Series, the 3rd. Rabe would be the 7th. Schaffner would be the 10th. Also on these teams, DeCaro 14, Ryan Lynch 13. So you got a handful of top prospects between these two teams.
Yeah, everybody, what a bigger showcase to move up draft boards than right here in Omaha.
2-2, and he got him there. Was that tight little cutter underneath the arms, and there's strikeout number 1.
Doesn't have much movement, doesn't need much movement. You start it right there. It's got enough movement to get it underneath the barrel. See, he kind of kicks it too, spikes it when he lets it go, gives it just enough cut spin in there, about 90 miles an hour. And Mr. Rabe off to a good start. Strikeout to get things going.
Yeah, there's that number 30 in the far right column, matched up against just 4 walks, and he's only allowed 1 long ball. One more time, this is a ballpark that plays big, and especially tonight with the wind currently blowing in. Here's Gavin Gallagher. And shot right at Furness at first, and he will take it himself on 1 pitch. So after a long, lengthy first plate appearance, 1 pitch helps Rabe.
Definitely does. Schaffner did a nice job of taking a chunk of Rabe with him on an 8-pitch plate appearance, but just the one there. Now he's looking back in good shape with only 9.
Ozone.
Yeah, here we go.
Here we go. Interesting, as he talked about blackouts, you see the sun now just comes barreling through the clouds, which will present some challenges, especially out there in left field, as Tristan Becerra now put his glove up over his eyes to see what he would do on a ball put up in the air. And it is Owen Hull. Hit .390 this year, and of course a super regional hero. 97 misses away. 28 multi-hit games on the season for Hull. Like Schaffner transfer, they really struck it rich in the portal from George Mason.
Yeah, it's a big part of this team and the team composition. You look at the Schaffner hitting leadoff, Hull hitting third, and Erik Paulson making Winslow as well, 4 and 5. There is a lot of impact through the portal here, and they kind of home grow their pitchers and then go to the portal for old mature position players, and boy, did they nail it.
1-1, another one pull foul, and again plenty of strikes being put in. As you take a look at the guys beyond Hull, Erik Paulson, who's having a terrific year, is at first base. He comes out of Stony Brook, second on the team in homers, and Nicholson, 16, leads the team out of Iowa Central Community College. Nicholson, the third baseman. 1-2, Rabe looking for a second punch out. And how about Hull's take?
Good take. Man, Schaffner went after a few of those too early and got a piece of it to stay alive. That time, Hull a good job to lay off. 97 up and out of the zone. See if they double up. See if he can do it twice in a row or throw that cutter in on his hands.
Will not chase. Set the defense behind Rabe. Judd Udemark is at third. Owen Pano's your shortstop. Decker is at second. Furness, who's made the play, is at first. Austin Fawley gets the call behind the plate with Becerra in left. Braden Randall is in right field. He hasn't made an error since the beginning of March. And Hayden Federico, who came in then went out to make a game-saving catch in the postseason already this year.
I mean, the bats Schaffner and Hull have put together here, just from Rabe's standpoint, like he already knows he's got his hands full with this group, because as dominant as his stuff looks, North Carolina has given him all he wants here in their first time through.
3-2, use the slider to get Schaffner. What will he do here? Tried it. Did he check it? No, he didn't. He's gone. And he went back to that slider. That's 2 in the inning. 100 strikeouts on the season. First time in Rabe's career. He and Hunter Elliott, first pair of teammates to have 100 plus since 2022.
Red Solo Cup soap opera, missing the tournament twice. Chatter about parting ways with the head coach. But now they and he are back.
Rebels are headed back to Omaha.
And the only losers here will be the people who have to keep the taps from running dry in the old market.
Yeah, Ole Miss will get after it. They were getting after it in the hotel here, sending their team off. In fact, the hotel that Ole Miss is in is shared with North Carolina. Sky high on the infield. Nicholson is an easy one as Becerra on a pitch fouls out to third base. Take a look at the Rebels and their season. Yeah, the batting average is where it is. They don't particularly care about that as long as they put the ball over the wall. Another season in which the SEC challenged them. Road neutral games, remarkably, they're 5-0 in the tournament. And Mike Bianco talked about they're a good bus team. But the truth is they were 9-14 entering the tournament. So maybe you can become a good bus team.
Yeah, those games are played in the conference, most of them. So there's definitely some context to that. But yeah, look, it's an offense that if they don't slug, they have a hard time generating offense. But man, can they pitch it. So they're going to play a bunch of close games.
Now Federico squares, and that one misses in. Ball one from DeCaro. This guy has been really good lately. Last 9 games hitting .378. And a terrific eye at the plate. He's got as many walks as he does strikeouts. He squares, and that one lands for a strike.
Who's taking one here?
Well, yeah, after a first pitch out,
yeah,
for sure. Yeah.
He's got a lot of room on that left side of the infield. Joe Bundit brings Nicholson in on the grass. And there's a lot of real estate in that 6-hole.
He's made a lot of contact lately. And that one misses.
Federico, one of the guys in this offense, too, that isn't all or nothing. He breaks this lineup up a little bit. 32 walks, 32 strikeouts. Not as much swing and miss, but not as much thump.
He and Randall have really put together some key hits for them down the stretch. And now DeCaro falls behind 3-1. At the knees. Federico thought maybe he had it.
I like to take the patience. No reason to offer the ball at the bottom of the zone. Again, make DeCaro get into this inning a little bit. See if he can draw a free pass.
3 on the right side. Can he shoot one the other way? He tries to, and it gets out of play. Son of a coach, Mike Federico. Mom used to put a baseball game on and try to convince Hayden that that was his dad out there who was coaching the team, even though it was the Atlanta Braves or the Cubs or the White Sox. Doesn't matter, it was baseball. And that kind of upbringing caused him to fall in love with the sport. 3-2, and he fouls another one off. Think about the composition of a team. When you have the bangers that they do, you have to have guys that get on base, that cause some pitch counts to rise.
Yeah, definitely a nice compliment in the middle of their lineup.
3-2, and he nearly got hit. That's a good plate appearance, and Hayden Federico becomes the first runner for Ole Miss. Now has one more walk than did a strikeout on the season. Next up out of Poughkeepsie, New York is the 6'3" sophomore Owen Pano, who put on a defensive clinic in the regionals. He's been great all year defensively. His goal was to get down south to play college baseball. Big swing and a high fastball.
Yeah, you watch Owen Pano in infield, outfield, and that's what they look like. You go, okay, yep, that looks like a major league shortstop. Now the bat has been slow to progress as well as the defense has, but there's some juice in there. Love to see him get going here in Omaha. It's been a tough postseason for him to this point.
Inside 2 for his last 21 to back up your point. KP, you and I saw him in the postseason. His hamstring was really bothering him.
Yeah, he wasn't moving great. Did have a big hit, had a big double in that Lincoln Regional, but was not moving great then.
says it does feel better now. Federico's got 5 steals, leads off first. The next one off speed, and he got him way out in front.
A change up there from DeCaro. Arm speed good, had good sink. Payno reacted like it was a fastball, took about 10 miles an hour off it.
It's a very good defense behind DeCaro with a .982 fielding percentage. They've turned 56 double plays this season, 4th in the country. Strike 3 called.
KP, he's not going to like that, but that one lands.
That was there.
Yep.
That was there. Yeah, it's back-to-back changeups, and honestly, if you're gonna dial them up, the first one is better than the second one from a location standpoint. You can see that one down. It gets a swing by Payno and comes back. This one elevated, had a little bit more arm side run to it, but caught the outside part of the plate, was definitely in the zone. DeCaro goes back-to-back to get Payno right there.
Another home run hitter steps in, Austin Foley. He's been very good lately. 9 homers last 19 games. Outside. Federico with an aggressive lead at first.
The one interesting thing against North Carolina, the whole season, what have they played? 60-some games? There's been 32 stolen bases attempted against them the whole year. People don't run against them. And Ole Miss is not a team that runs a lot, but no one has run against North Carolina this year.
Heineck behind the plate's thrown out 3 of 13 would-be base runners. This ball lifted high and to the deepest part of the ballpark. Owen Hull puts the brakes on, sees the ball go into the glove. Hit it hard, didn't result in anything. Bottom 2 coming up. The NCAA Men's College World Series is presented by Capital One. What's in your wallet? Early today, West Virginia, Tyrus Hall, 4 RBIs, go-ahead 2-run single in the 8th. All about the Armanis, man. Armani Guzman, a straight steal of home. For the first time, a straight steal or steal of home since 2000 at the College World Series. They did queue up country roads. And Ian Korn was phenomenal in relief to give West Virginia the win.
Steve Sabins went right to his best bullet, and Ian Korn, boy, did he deliver 6 solid innings.
And I think that's the difference here, too, and guys realize it when they have a chance to see it, regardless of whether you've been here. You got tomorrow off regardless. Like anything you can do to win game 1, anybody will do it.
Winslow swings at the first one, sky high. Furness is calling everybody off of it. The first baseman is there for the out.
Ravi, when Taylor Wright found out he was getting the start, he said he was pumped because Mike Bianco always talks about throwing the first punch, and he got to do that for his Rebs. And as competitive as he is, the day of a start, he said, I like to actually be very chill. So I drink green tea so that there's not too much caffeine. And the playlist consists of reggae music, which I got a chuckle of thinking of KP back in the day while they didn't have playlists, maybe on a cassette, trying to listen to reggae music,
Chris,
chill yourself out.
I can hear you when you're talking right. I can hear you. These mean things you're saying about my age.
Do they have cassettes then?
8 tracks.
Green tea? I don't think so. A couple of
Bob Marley for you, KP?
I do a little Bob Marley for you.
I can see that.
Yeah. Do that.
Let's just follow up on what KB just talked about, not the music or the drink, but why did they go with Rabe when they have two other, legitimate game one starters?
Because if you have watched the last 2 months, Rabe has been about as good as anybody. Take ERA out of the equation a little bit. It may be not quite as low, but if you look at the metrics of it, he has thrown the baseball about as well as anybody in the country.
Well, that's half the story. The other half is they like the right-handed power versus this North Carolina lineup. They felt like, yes, on their side, Rabe has been their best guy, but then also it matched up from an analytics standpoint to their opponent. So from that standpoint, it made a very easy choice.
Versus Hunter Elliott, who has been their winningest guy. That one is called a strike on the swing. Cooper Nicholson behind 0-2.
Pretty nice to have this one in your bag, man. 89-mile-an-hour cutter that's got a little depth to it right there. Nicholson went just far enough, and Rabe so far is at a very efficient second inning.
You think? 4 pitches. Nicholson 16 long balls, and it's 1-2.
It was interesting today talking to Joel Mangrum and Mike Bianco about Rabe, and they made it sound like he's essentially addicted to balls. Like no interest in ever throwing balls.
Right.
Just strike, 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 strike. You see the strike numbers, it makes sense, but he's offended if he doesn't throw strikes.
Tried a curveball that didn't land.
So he's addicted to strikes.
He's addicted to not throwing balls. You know what I said?
You said he was addicted to
roll it back.
Yeah, that's okay.
No, you went with addicted to balls, but I knew
you know what I meant.
I knew what you meant exactly. He's kind of allergic to throwing balls.
There you go. Yeah, help him out.
I know him. I drank the green tea with him.
Yes.
We know what he's talking about.
They don't let me drink green tea. Come on.
Well, the key is going to be to get ahead of both of these teams for the pitchers, and so far that's been the case on a 2-2. This ball is poked towards the line in the left, and it is drifting over and out of play. Good crowd on hand tonight. Ole Miss and North Carolina. And of course, we played 2 today. We will play 2 tomorrow with the other 4 teams that are in the field. One side of the bracket's got all SEC teams, while the other's got just one. And that's this one here with Ole Miss. 2-2 to Cooper Nicholson. He's the third baseman. Ouch.
Ouch is right. He's got 2 looks on that fastball. We've seen them both. He can four-seam it and have that one that really has carry. He's been up to 99. That was the 2 that will just barrel in on a right-handed hitter's hands. And it's 2 very different fastball shapes, but both have been upper 90s so far.
He did not offer.
Boy, what an AB Nicholson is putting together here after 2 really quick outs. He is hanging in there and absolutely fighting Rabe here to try to get a two-out base runner. Heck of an at-bat.
Rabe has not allowed a base runner yet, and the next one to Nicholson on a 3-2. He didn't take that as a heck of an at-bat for Nicholson. 42nd walk of the season. He's got 18 more strikeouts, but it extends the number of pitches that Rabe's got to throw. And with 2 out, he's aboard. Now the lone freshman in this lineup out of Huntersville, North Carolina, is Tyler Howe, the left fielder. Numbers a little better against lefties, 310, than it is against righties, 218. And Rabe gets ahead 0-1 on a foul ball.
Addicted to strikes, KP.
See, I told you.
He's addicted to first pitch strikes.
That's what I
12th
said.
in Division I baseball. As a team, Ole Miss is #1 in the sport in 0-0 strike percentage. They are as good as it gets at getting ahead in counts.
We talked to all great pitchers. Strike 1 the most important, and then winning the 1-1 count, which we are at now.
four-seamer's just been a little squirrely, KP. That keeps taking off on him at the top of the zone.
It's about 6 to 8 inches higher than he wants it. And North Carolina's done a good job, too, especially in 2-strike counts, of laying off that one that's up and out of the zone.
Got a quick look at Joel Mangrum, who was hired a couple of years ago and has done terrific with this pitching staff. 2-1, hard, that one's into right field. And heading to third base, Nicholson. He will get there. Hey, the bottom of the order delivering here. Nicholson with a walk, Howe with a single. It's first and third with 2 down.
Well, this inning looked like it was going to be cruise control for Taylor Rabe. Anything but. A great walk by Nicholson. A cutter that stays up just enough. And because the runner is on at first base, that 4-hole is open, and the freshman rips it into right field. Nicholson an easy first to third. And now the Tar Heels have a little momentum with 2 outs.
Colin Heineck is the catcher. 271 average, chance to get the Heels in front. Fastball up, letter high, and it is a swing for a strike. Carolina baseball is to get runners on, move them over, get them in. And they're trying to do that with 2 outs here in the second. Outside. Yeah, it is outside, and it's 1 ball, 1 strike.
He's just having a hard time getting that fastball in the strike zone. The cutter's been good, the changeup's been good. Fastball's just kind of dancing all around the zone and causing him to have trouble putting some guys away.
Yeah, for a guy who doesn't walk anybody, the walk is standing down there at third base. The 1-1 to Heineck, who will not go there.
He got to the right spot. He had a little bit of racing luck right here.
Yeah. Almost ended up at the back.
That's why the right hand goes down there just in case.
No swing. 3 balls and a strike, and it again is the same location.
And Carolina's pitch recognition and swing decisions have just been excellent to this point in the ball game.
This was the battle we talked about at the top, the ability of Carolina to be somewhat patient. Tonight, so far against Rabe, they can be. 3-1. He lands it, and it's a full count. Slider's been his out pitch. Fastball there was better, but it's also caused him to walk some. Runners will be going. 3-2, 2 outs. That's on the corner, and he paints. Picks up his 3rd strikeout. When he needed it, he got it.
Quick start to the inning, then Mr. Rabe comes back and solves it himself right there. A little 2-seamer at 96 on the outside part of the plate for another strikeout. We return. Head coach of the Tar Heels. We'll talk to Scott Forbes.
Presented by Capital One, joined now by Scott Forbes. Congratulations getting back here for the 2nd time in 3 years. You did it the hard way back home, losing game 1, having to walk it off in game 3. What is it about the makeup of this group that got them back here?
Yeah, they've been tough and resilient ever since we lost that first series at home to Virginia. They've been really good on the road and a really fun group too, and a joyful group. And At this point in the season, I'm just trying to stay out of their way and jump on their backs.
For Jason DeCaro, who had a pretty incredible outing that last weekend, for him today through this one through 3, what have you seen from him so far?
I mean, he's our guy. We've got a lot of guys, but I mean, he's a winner. He's won a lot in his career. I feel really good when I write his name in that lineup, I can tell you that.
What have you seen from the stuff early today?
Yeah, he's mixing it. He's so far 4 pitches, only 1 curveball, but he's you got to mix it against these guys. They got a ton of power. He'll have to continue to do that against this lineup.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Ravi?
Thanks, KB. 8-9-1. Braden Randall swings wildly at 1, and DeCaro's ahead 0-1. Randall, who is an infielder by trade, is playing right field today. And this happened a few weeks ago. And it was really the first time he'd been in the outfield since he was 14 years old. But he's got a good bat, came up with a couple of key hits late, and that's why Mike Bianco optioned to put him out there.
He's been playing shortstop. I mean, him and Payno have kind of split that position, but he has been their best hitter in the postseason. 8 for 16, and they would not be here without him.
0-2. Will not swing there. He was asked about the last time he played outfield when he was 14. He said, I did hose a runner in that game. So he remembers.
Vivid memories of it, obviously.
Threw him out. Infield shifts on a 1-2. And Randall sends one to an area. There's nobody there. And Howe didn't see it. He does not see it. That's a fair ball. And Randall, the second, with a double. Well, there is the impact of that sun. And by the way, a shift. So the shortstop was way over on the second base side.
Yeah, the only guy that had a chance to get this is Howe in left field. It's interesting. We were talking to Mike Bianco earlier today, and he was talking about what they were going to do in the outfield. Specifically, they were playing Bassett in left because he had played more outfield. And that's where the sun is going to affect you. It's probably another hour, hour and a half, but you could see it right away. The break from Howe, he did not see it off the bat, picked it up, but because he didn't see it off the bat, not enough time to close, and the ball that looks like an out when it comes off the bat is now a leadoff double.
For the 9-hole hitter, Colin Reuter. And Randall's hot streak here in the postseason continues. This one on the ground, he's off on contact, snared, and a really nice play made by Schaffner. No one had some eyes on it, but he snared it before it got into left field. He prevented a run from scoring.
Well, this is that weird ball that's right between the shift, and they are clearly playing Reuter heavy on the left side, but you got to be able to go to your left, spin, and throw a seed. And boy, we talk about a kid flying up draft boards. The top spin on that one, the range to get to it, and the arm strength to finish it off with an accurate throw. But you got to give Reuter credit. He moves the runner, and now the Rebs with a great chance to take a lead here.
Decker, runner at third base, 1 down. Infield in.
Love it.
And it's in there for a strike. Well, you love it.
Love it. 1 out. You got a contact guy up. You know it's going to be a low-scoring ball game. You can't let this dude hit a ground ball to second base and take the lead.
Yeah, this doesn't feel like a 10-9 game here.
Decker 333 with a runner at third this year. 1-1. Amazing, isn't it? Just literally timing, because right now there is no sun bothering the left fielder.
That's right. Yeah. No, it's kind of in and out. But when the sun goes away, it helps the hitter a little bit too. The shadows aren't as severe at the plate.
And he laces one into left field. That's going to get down. He's thinking 2. He brings in Randall, and to second, he is in there, safe with a double. Dom Decker delivers to make it 1-0 Ole Miss.
Well, there's no teams that are back here back-to-back years, but there is a player. Dom Decker here last year with Murray State gets into his back knee and shoots the gap. This kid is doing exactly what they brought him here to do, which is put the bat to the ball and deliver in situational opportunities. What a big swing of the bat by the veteran.
6th double of the season, and here's Udemark. And he's swinging aggressively at the first one. '34th run batted in for Decker as he delivers after the sun ball put Randall at second base, moved up to third on the grounder. inside to Utermark, who's got a .310 batting average with runners in scoring position. He is one of the guys that, regardless of the wind blowing out, if he hooks one to left, he absolutely can launch.
Yeah, he can run it out just about anywhere in this ballpark.
He got jammed and has popped up on the infield to the second baseman, Gallagher.
One of the better fastballs we've seen from DeCaro today. That was one that had pretty good ride, but also had good movement in on the hands of Utermark right there. And you start your swing there. There's nothing you can do.
Fastball does have great life today, no question about it.
It does.
And here is Will Furniss. 30 years ago, his dad was here, winning a title, one of two his dad won. Eddie Furniss, he's a record holder at LSU for what he did with the bat. There are some similarities in the swing, but Dad has done a great job, according to Mike Bianco, of letting Will be Will.
Well, we talk about Owen Hull having 81 homers, or excuse me, 81 RBIs with 7 homers. Will Furniss, 54 ribbies with 7 homers.
Yes.
He has been their best hitter with runners in scoring position, over 400 on the season. So not the home run hitter as Pops was, but boy, is he cool under fire and has come up with a bunch of clutch hits.
31 of them with runners in scoring position, and that one cue ball foul on the third base side.
That's pretty cool to see too. I saw Will's post after they won Supers and were coming back, and now he gets a chance to come back with his kid and watch him in this environment. Obviously, he played a few miles up the road. I remember it better than some others may, but still, you sit in this ballpark and get a chance to see your kid play, man. That's a pretty good day.
Mm-hmm. 2 balls, 2 strikes. You remember him?
There he is.
KP?
I'm in the book. I'm in the Dr. Eddie book.
Which means what to people who don't really know what that means?
Let's just talk about this game, Carl.
It means you were taken out by Mr. Furniss.
I was, in fact.
To be fair, there's like 80 of you.
Ooh, good breaking ball by DeCaro to pick up another strikeout, but it's a double from Randall and then another one from Decker.
Take advantage of the situation. A bloop double falls by Randall, and then Dom Decker comes up with the biggest swing of the game to this point. Getting your back knee, driving a run. The Rebs are up 1.
And there he is, Dr. Carter French, pursuing a doctorate. He's going to be taking care of people. And it looked like last week he actually took care of his coach. He put his arm around Scott Forbes and said, "How you doing, coach?" The coach was up there to tell him to kind of just live in the moment, which he did. He delivered the big hit in the Super Regional. Down a run at the bottom of the 9th. And then, of course, we know what Hull did. There's some composure in Mr. Carter French.
He was here in 24. He's been through the battles. He looked pretty cool in that moment, didn't he?
It's good bedside manner right there.
Good call.
He's already got that down.
I mean, we're talking about taking MCATs in the middle of seasons and doing things that just very few can do. And he's now got that nickname, and he will certainly, based on what we've seen from him, be an outstanding physician when the time comes. Dr. French, paging Dr. French. He hits 9, and it's one of those innings now for Rabe that you got to run. Can you put a 0 up? So the 1-1, the critical count now tips in favor of the batter French. 232 out of the 9 spot.
Filling in nicely tonight.
Oh, yeah.
It is going to be spicy in here tomorrow night now. It's 7 o'clock Saturday night game, and get the Dogs and the Horns locking it up tomorrow.
A couple of decent teams, Texas and Georgia.
A little bit of star power.
2-2 to start the bottom of the 3rd. Just down at 97.
Yeah, Foley did a nice job on that pitch right there. 50-50 ball that goes French's way, but maybe Rabe's starting to find that fastball command a little sharper there.
Struck out last man by painting on the outside to Heineck. He got him to go there. That's strikeout number 4 for Taylor Rabe. Folks, for the latest news, insight, in-depth analysis from the 2026 College World Series, we invite you to visit ncaa.com. NCAA.com, your official online home for all NCAA championships. You guys make it a field here. You don't have UCLA. You don't have Georgia Tech. UCLA was the #1 team in the country all year long. Thoughts on the 8 that are here?
Boy, I love our field. I think you got obviously North Carolina and Georgia that are kind of holding up and Texas that are holding up the banner for the highest seeds. Alabama is the 7th seed, so you got half the top 8 that are here. You got the 2 first-timers. You got a blue blood from the ACC in North Carolina. I think it's incredible diversity, and then the parity. Again, we have of the last 24 teams to have been here.
Yeah.
Only North Carolina is a repeat. So I think the sport's in a really healthy place from that standpoint.
The foot of Schaffner as he reattaches his guard down there. He's a hard guy to strike out. He did strike out in the 1st. He also has got 7 triples, and this ball is fouled. So the slider has got him some strikeouts, and now ahead in this one, 1-2. Boy, is that a comfortable take or what?
Yeah, and they've had some of those on that same pitch. That fastball that he's trying to get Chase on, that Tar Heels done a really good job of laying off the first time through the order.
2 years North Dakota State with the Bison. He was the Summit League Defensive Player of the Year, semifinalist for the Brooks Wallace Award, Best College Shortstop. Coming in ranked as this season's number 17 shortstop by D1 Baseball, but as Berkey says, kind of rising with a bullet.
Well, we talk about some of the metrics that Pro Ball loves to see. He leads this field in end zone contact. So his bat to ball skills are elite. You talked about the low strikeout totals, and we've seen the way he can put together an at bat against elite stuff already in this ball game.
Grew up skating around his backyard, a rink that his dad had built. Thought he might be playing hockey. 2-2, did make contact. Dom Decker is up with it and over. KP, you've been around this sport and a champion for it as long as anybody. When you see a number like 23 different teams, meaning every year you got 8 here and only Carolina's been here twice in the last 3, what does that say to you?
It makes you smile. I mean, you know, so often we hear about NIL and the negative effect, and it's going to be the same. It's not the same teams. I mean, this shows you what it is. Just one team has been here twice in the last 3 years.
You get that jingle in the background there?
Oh, I heard it.
Yeah.
It don't leave either.
Care to sing for us?
I care not to. Yes.
Almost heaven. That you could certainly say about Omaha. It is almost heaven for college baseball fans, teams, the youth leagues that are in town to play in their tournaments. I mean, just look at this place tonight with the temps in the low 80s. Colors of the schools. The 0-1. And he's going to get that call right at the knees. 0-2 to Gallagher.
There's over 500 youth teams that come in here every year.
Smart. Really smart.
This weekend, next weekend, there's 2 different massive tournaments all over the metro area. It's outstanding. And they get a chance to see this when they otherwise would.
And Aspire to it on the 0-2. This one is lifted high to center field. Federico is at the track, and he's there to take it in. Gallagher gave it a good one. He hit it 101 miles an hour. But Carolina still scoreless. We're through 3, 1-0. Now, Rosenblatt was the place, and then, of course, it moved downtown, and this place has changed dramatically as well. You got the giant scoreboard in right field, but now you can see another one in left field. KP doesn't change the way they play. And by the way, underneath the giant video board in left field is the ESPN studio set, which is here throughout the course of this College World Series.
That's a good look out there.
Really
good. Chance to go hang out the other day. Yeah, I mean, it could affect the wind a little bit blowing in from left center. It's coming in from there, but we got new ribbon boards this year too, Raph. Big deal. Ribbon boards all over.
Okay.
I miss those.
Tristan Becerra first up. Caro starts off the 4th inning. DeCaro will face Becerra, Federico, and Pano. Clemson transfer, dealt with all sorts of injuries and just kind of exploded here this season.
Healthy.
Yeah, health helps.
And and the ball jumps off the bat. And it did last year too. We watch him take BP at Clemson. I mean, when he was right, there was real juice, and he's shown it this year.
Yeah, not there as he is spoiling 1, 2, and 1. His last 3 hits have actually been home runs. And that's what he's done. So 3 for 21, and all 3 of them are homers.
He hit a ball to the moon in Lincoln.
Yes, he did. That's the one that nearly struck that silver car out there.
Did.
Correct?
Yes, it was a radar lock on it.
340 feet, is that what it was?
No, it started with a 4.
430.
Yeah.
And then there was another one like 420 that night.
Well, it's pretty wild. He had 9 career home runs at Clemson.
Yes.
23 this season. All these coaches are doing their due diligence in the portal, but sometimes you got to get a little lucky.
Yeah.
I don't know that you knew you were getting 20-plus homers. But boy, are they happy to have them. And we talked about North Carolina and what a nice job they did in the portal. But you look at Dom Decker and Tristan Becerra, certainly a couple pieces that Ole Miss added this offseason that have really impacted their offense.
Here we go on a 3-2. Oh, he pulled a string with a filthy changeup.
That's a pretty good one right there now. That's a real good one, man. DeCarro's got the A stuff tonight. It's been good. The fastball's got good ride, but see that changeup's got a little gyro on it, kind of pushing it down as it moves away from the left-handed hitter. Good velo difference there. Really good arm speed and a great 3-2 changeup right there to retire Becerra.
Here comes Federico. Walked his first time up.
Yeah, I was a little worried about his ability to bounce back after such a heavy workload last week. All that was on his shoulders, a little bit of a short week. You guys weren't as concerned, but from a stuff standpoint, at least here in the first 50 pitches or so, he has been really, really good.
And he gets the call at the knees. Yeah, let's flush that out a little bit. So you were a little concerned because he exerted himself and it was unknown territory. What was your point, KP?
My point was you just did something you've never done before, and I think sometimes it gives you a shot in the arm of he had never thrown a 9-inning complete game in college baseball. And honestly, did it in probably his biggest start. I mean, maybe take away the start he had here, but I mean, it kept their season alive. I'm going to say it again. SC did not get a base runner to second base in that game. He went CG, saved the bullpen, and then they fought back to win Game 3 the next day.
3 on the right side of the infield. Federico gets one, and he fouls it off.
And to save the bullpen piece, you can't say enough because North Carolina, yes, Lynch and DeCarro have been awesome. But the bullpen for most of the year is one of the reasons people were so bullish.
Then
that
the
they would
bullpen
end up
started
here.
the next day.
Right. So him not only shutting USC down, but going the distance was a huge reason they're still standing.
The bullpen starting is a starter that pitches out of the pen who was really, really good. 2-2. And this one is right into the shift. And a routine ground ball out of Federico. Yeah, significance of game 1 is in this event very, very big. And when you have arms, you do what you can. We saw that today with Korn coming in, like, you know, your best guy, and Troy as well. And you see that, you know, Troy's now into the losers bracket. These teams have security blankets left and right to do whatever they can to get over that finish line at game 1. And really, really high quality security blankets.
Well, sometimes it doesn't eliminate other starters either because of those off days. I mean, you potentially could see somebody who's been a starter that in a high leverage situation or come out and get you 3 outs that potentially could come back and start again in 2 days.
Jason DeCarro has struck out 4. He will not get the offer here from the shortstop Pano. Two really strong pitching programs with really strong pitching coaches, because the development of DeCarro from a 17-year-old to really a man now on the mound has been fantastic. 2-2 Cheddar right by him at 93. That is his 5th strikeout. He's doing his job. Just a bloop double and an RBI has it 1-0. Owen Hull can change it with a swing. He's coming up when we come back, and we'll also speak with the head man, Mike Bianco, right after this.
Welcome back to the 2026 Men's College World Series presented by Capital One. Joined now with Ole Miss head coach Mike Bianco. You guys get a run across the board with maybe the help of some of that sun in the outfield. You have so much experience coaching here. How is the sun and the wind challenging for anyone out here day to day with the way that it changes?
Well, there's no doubt left field's different, right? So, most of the time you don't worry about the sun in left field, but here you do. And so we got our normal right fielder, Tristan Becerra, playing left. But that was really just kind of, I think, found a hole, wind blowing in. So, a little tough conditions, I think, for the outfielders.
You chose today to go with Taylor Rabe. What have you seen from him so far?
He's been good, not great. Good fastball. He's thrown some good cutters. Last inning was the first time he landed a slider and just a changeup or two. He's got to get a couple more of those off-speed in the zone.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Ravi?
Thank you, Chris. Back up here with Kyle Peterson and Chris Burke.
Tough crowd.
Yeah. He'll tell you like it is.
3 zeros and a hit.
I'll tell you this.
He's
if
okay.
this is good, not great, sign me up for this cat right now.
Big challenge here with Hull. First pitch fastball right down the middle at 94, and he fouled it off.
But I think it's a fair comment.
Yeah, I do too.
I think it's a very fair comment. I mean, we've talked about he hadn't landed the fastball the way that he has sometimes in the past. The cutter has been good. But still, through all that, he's leading the ball game 1-0.
That's another one. And to your point, maybe that fastball is coming back down where he wants it.
Well, it also is clicking down a touch. He was living 97 early. It's now
bumped to 99.
That's right. Now it's been 94, 95.
Will not chase. Man after my own heart. He's sort of a renaissance man. Not that I'm that, but he's the guy that he's the guy that
trying to follow that.
He
one
likes
for a
the
minute.
simple things in life. Like we discussed, vanilla ice cream. Loves it. Doesn't need all the funny flavors.
All in.
Waffles without any stuff on it. Pizza without pineapples. Like, he is down to earth.
What was the renaissance part?
Well, he's interested in like movies and music. He's a black belt in Taekwondo.
Okay, now we're talking.
I'm not getting there.
You kind of stop at vanilla ice cream.
Absolutely. Although hard pass
ended
last night. Now the whole crowd went right to the ice cream, and McDonald and Perez and I said, exit stage left. Hi, Berkey. What are you seeing? So 94. I mean, these pitches are center cut, right?
Yeah, but again, you have to defend so many different types of pitches, right? So once you get behind in the count, you're worried about chasing the slider, the changeup plays. There's a bigger breaking ball in there too, and so that 94 you can tell is jumping on Hull, but he's in defense right now. He's in defensive mode.
Hull really, really loved George Mason, and leaving was not easy. He also was the last commit for this transfer class of Scott Forbes. Think about the idea they have a leadoff hitter, a 3-hole hitter, and Paulson, who hits 5th. All out of the portal. He chases there. That's a good one from Rabe. And he now has 5 strikeouts.
And back to changeup right here too.
Yeah.
I mean, if he gets this one going, especially against left-handers, you see that release gets all the way out over the top, and that's key to the changeup is let that arm get extended and let that arm pronate right over the top. It gives it a good down action when it goes away from the left-hander right there. He's now punched out Hull twice.
That brings up the designated hitter, also catcher Macon Winslow. Some power here in this bat too, double digits in homers. And that one is tugged outside, 1-0.
And Rav, you talked about him being late on the fastball. It's because of changeups like that, and that the lineup talks, the dugout talks, and those guys know that they have to be aware of that late in the count. That's what makes guys like Rabe so hard to deal with.
The 1-0, he chased a tight slider. 1 ball, 1 strike. I heard Ben McDonald and Eduardo and Mike Monaco, Taylor McGregor talking about the difference in ability to square up or hit a fastball at 93, and then what happens when you throw it 95 and harder, and the production drops off so much, which is obviously why, you know, pitching coaches and others chase velocity on the mound.
Yeah, typically when you also click up in velo, everything else gets sharper, right? And so the rest of the arsenal becomes harder to handle as well.
2-2.
Still got it in there. Average velo this year just above 96. That last fastball there at 97, which we haven't seen that number in a couple innings, but Rabe still reaching back, and there's plenty there.
Yeah, you can hear him grunt there, another 96. So, okay, there are folks at home who've got kids that are pitchers and say, well, how do you do a 93 to a 96? Like, how do you increase velocity like that?
Some is understanding just the mechanics of how you create velocity. And that was one of the things that Joel Mangrum was talking about today, is in training these guys. So getting the force plates out, so understanding how you create velocity back through your body, and that's part of it. And then he credited their strength coach.
He did.
And the lifting program that they've been on, and that's, for me, one of the biggest changes in the last 30 years is an understanding of how to create velocity.
3-2. And he will not chase. Another rare Rabe walk. Major League Baseball action will be on Sunday afternoon. Tony V, that's right, his Giants, not a Vol, but of course a championship with the Vols. He's head man in San Francisco. He gets Craig Counsell and the Cubs Sunday 3 Eastern on ABC. You can stream it on the ESPN app. I'm sure Tony V's having a good time doing what he's doing. He hadn't had that much fun yet in San Francisco.
It's been kind of cool hearing some of the coaches here that Tony reached out to. Skylar Meade, Rob Vaughn, to name a few. He's clearly keeping his eye on the college game still.
Change up, strike one to Eric Paulson. Stony Brook transfer, Massapequa, Long Island. The story, like so many others, is unique, but unfortunately in his case, littered with tragedy as he chases one up. Story behind Paulson, of course, was his dad was a detective for the New York Fire Department, and during 9/11 was called in to help. And for 2 months, he spent time helping clean and clear debris. And years later, was diagnosed with throat cancer. He was his coach forever, his best friend forever. In fact, he wears a necklace with the shield that his dad had underneath that jersey. The dad made the trip to North Carolina. He didn't really want to leave because he didn't want to leave his dad having his treatments, but the dad went down there and said, I can't wait to see you wearing those powder blues. And when you recount the story, you cry. I mean, you do nothing but break down and cry. And he's been really helped by this program, by the people around it. Scott Forbes will put his arm around him when he thinks he needs it. And this is a terrific young man who mirrors a lot of the personality, big personality qualities of his late dad.
Well, his dad's a hero, and like so many other the 9/11 heroes have gone too soon, but he's certainly carrying on his dad's legacy in a way you know he would be so proud.
Sure. He used to park his car, he did, at Stony Brook so that his dad would come out of the Stony Brook facility, having gotten treatment, didn't want to be seen by anybody, but he allowed his dad to sit in his car and watch the baseball games. Two-two jam shot, and Udemark goes back and makes a nice play over the shoulder. Not an easy play for Judd Udemark, but he takes a hit away from Eric Paulson.
You know, KP, I've always thought Judd Udemark reminded me of Travis Kelce. And this looks like Kelce on a fade ball right here. Drop your hips, turn, and make him play over the shoulder. That is a big, strong, athletic dude.
He can move around now. I mean, he's got 11 bags this year. So, I mean, Udemark, he's one of the biggest dudes on the entire field. But, yeah, I mean, that was a drop step like he was in the outfield right there and ran it down.
Nicholson looks at strike one down on the corner.
Kelce vibes, you okay with that? Ish?
ish.
You're not in?
Yeah.
You're not in?
He's he's squarely on the ish.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm going to go Berkey grade. Yeah, you got to give me a little more. Got to do a little more for me.
Well, it's a high aura factor too. Like really good hair. He's got the mid shin pant. You know, like just like Kelsey, feels very trendy. I think.
Does he have a brother? Does he have a podcast? Does he have Taylor Swift?
Oh, he's 6'5" and can run. Does that count for anything?
It's the beginning.
The other one's kind of trumpet, to be fair.
I mean, I didn't say he was ish.
Oh. That one froze Nicholson.
There's the slider. You can see the velo difference. Cutter will be 88, 89. That was the slider he dropped in there that Mike Bianca was just talking about, needing to find a slider, and he stole a strike right there and flipped the count.
So in a game of inches, of course, what this game is, you think about the ball that dropped because of the sun, which led to a double. If that ball gets over Udemark's head, you got first and second and one out. It wasn't a sun ball, but he certainly was able to make a good catch on what looked like it was going to drop.
Well, when you get these two right-handers at the top of their game, you're going to need a little fortune.
Yeah.
You're probably not going to lay into 3 rockets in an inning. So finding a hole, getting a ground ball with eyes is very likely to be a part of the story of the way this game unfolds.
You know, back to Chris's point about reggae music. I mean, one thing you notice about Rabe, how calm he appears. You know, we saw Dylan Volantis at the Supers on a hot night, laboring and sweating and breathing a lot. We're not seeing any of that from Rabe, and it's a much cooler night, different environment. But he does not get rattled. At least that's what Mangrum will tell you. And Mangrum and he spent a lot of time. In fact, Mangrum spends a lot of time with his pitchers off the field.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed our time with him today.
3-2, another one, and that is high. He does not go. It's first and second.
That is the first time all year Mr. Rabe has walked 3 in a game. He's only walked 2 twice, and already 3 walks here in 3 2/3. So we talked about the fastball being just a little wobbly today, and that would certainly highlight it with the 3 walks.
Landon Waters is up and starting to throw in the bullpen, get loose. 77 pitches for Rabe. We see Mangrum out there now talking to him. He came out of the Cleveland Guardians organization, the minor league pitching coordinator. The really interesting sideline to that story was Max Wiener,
yes,
of course, the great Texas pitching coach, who was an intern in the program underneath Mangrum.
And then very quickly was running the Mariners organization.
And 1 year later went to run the Seattle Mariners organization.
Yeah, and now 2 of the best pitching coaches in our sport at one time were both working for the Guardians.
What did you like about the conversation so much?
I love talking to guys that know the ins and outs of all the data and everything else you want to know, but can explain it very simplistically. Because I think it's important when you're dealing with college kids. You can know all that stuff, but if you can't translate it to them, it really doesn't make that big of a difference. I think he's very, very good at that.
Chance for Howe with 2 on. First pitch right back to Rabe, and whatever Mangrum said to him, it worked out beautifully. Went with a changeup to get a little hopper right back to him. They left 2, they don't score any. It's 1-0, we're through 4, and Braden Randall in that big double will come up next inning.
Jason DeCaro's got the good stuff tonight, giving up just 2 hits over 4 innings. Watch the difference in fastball shape. Those glove side there, then this one just takes off to Utermark. But the changeup has been so important for him today, especially against left-handers. Makes the fastball even better. He's had the ability to throw it down and out of the zone, get swing and miss, land it if he needs to. But the combination primarily of those two and the breaking ball so far has led to DeCaro really being outstanding. I mean, he gives up a bloop double and a real double that scores a run. Aside from that, he's been about perfect tonight.
Backing up what he did a couple of years ago, you saw that graphic up there and how good he was then. And the other part of these pitchers, and both Scott Forbes and Mike Bianco have talked about it, but these guys are huge. I mean, DeCaro's 6'5", 225, and on the other side, Rabe is 6'6", 220.
Think of this too as a pro organization. He's 19. 19 years old. He was 17 when he was here 2 years ago. Do the math. 19.
Ball. I think he's 20.
He's 19 or 20, but regardless,
just turned it. We were just going to let it sit.
When you get him into,
you could have said ish.
Into pro ball.
I'd have given it to you.
Just do the math.
It's not too different from drafting a kid out of high school.
And I will say that the most remarkable thing with DeCaro, he's posted every week.
Yes, he has.
The guy's done it for 3 straight years. And Ravi, you talked about how physical he is. He's literally been a horse for them. Every weekend, they've been able to count on Jason DeCaro taking the baseball.
Well, the leadoff walk to Foley brings up Randall. The outfield moves in considerably. The shortstop Schaffner now goes to the other side of second base. Randall is the anti-DeCaro and Rabe size guy. And yet he has strung together quite an end to this season and beginning to the postseason. Really inserted late because of his bat. 1 ball, 1 strike. Now an 8-game hit streak, which is a career long. And they have 1 triple this year, Ole Miss, and Randall's the guy that's got it. Just foul.
Well, Ole Miss doesn't do a lot of offense, Ralph. It's, walk and slug, and that's kind of their deal. Randall is a guy that they actually could play a little ball with. He's got a couple sacks. They have 7 sack bunts. Now, they're not going to bunt, obviously, at this point in the game, in this count. But he can move the ball. There's opportunities to do some different things with him.
That's actually what I was thinking. Not with 2 strikes, but it would have been a great time to slash. Because you can bring a third baseman and you have the entire left side of the infield open in that spot.
DeCaro's 65th pitch is by him.
He's kind of stuck at that 93, 94 the whole night, but it seemingly has played up, and you can see him get straight behind that 4-seamer. So everything just finishes right all the way through it. Carry that fastball all the way towards home plate, and that's where you're going to see that swing path go directly underneath it like it did there for Randall.
The shifting North Carolina defense moves Gallagher on the shortstop side of second base for Reuter, who has really struggled lately as the pitch is outside. Came in 3 for his last 19. 9 of his 16 outs had been strikeouts. He grounded out to shortstop his first time up. Foley is off first after the second walk of the night issued by DeCaro to go with those 6 strikeouts. Swing and a miss.
Well, rather, they're hitting 245 in the tournament. So it's not an offense that has strung together a bunch of hits. But like so many of these Rebel hitters, Reuter's 1 home run was a huge 2-run homer in the Super to give them some breathing room against Auburn in game 1. They have made their hits count.
1-1. Howe continues to block the sun out there in left field. That's a good pitch. 1-2, down and in. And you can see the challenges to be out there if you're Tyler Howe. Center fielder Hull is really shallow. And a jam shot's going to get down on the dirt. Not picking up the third base coach, and no advancement there from Foley. He's a catcher. He's not the fastest runner. He stays at second base.
Yeah, he's not the fastest runner, but you still have to pick up your third base coach. You have to trust that he has your best interest. And this actually a four-seamer, KP. Looked like a two-seamer, but that one just runs in on the hands of Reuter. And right here, Foley doesn't get a great break, but you got to look at your third base coach. Mike Clement throws up. Oh, he did. He threw up the red light.
He threw up stop sign.
Yeah, he did. I thought early that he was disappointed, but now looking back at it, he definitely put the brakes on and probably thinking what you're thinking, Rav, which is not the fleetest of foot. Let's not get caught at third base here, even though with one out. Not a bad time to try it.
No, good breaking ball to start Dom Decker. But again, there may be a little bit of this, really, like we had a blooper that got the first run in, and now we had one literally land on the dirt. And Decker has been clutch. He got the double and the RBI to put him up 1-0. This time another one lifted into left. Does Howe have it? Looks like he does. He's there for the second out.
Well, and that's one of those, could he have made it? Boy, that would be a nice sac fly right now, you know. And again, can Paulson turn around and make that throw with his back to third base? It's just, we talked about the margins that this game feels like it's going to be decided on, and that would have been a casual sac fly right there if your runner was at third base.
I understand the wind's blowing in, but that is shallow in center field.
Yeah, especially for this guy. Yep, Judd Utemark.
With this guy up there, yes.
Swings aggressively at the first one.
And it's interesting, the wind is not as much straight in anymore, boys. It's more right to left, and we saw that ball Gallagher hit actually carried almost to the base of the wall. You're right, KP. You got to really trust your ability to go back on the baseball if you're going to play Judd Utemark right there.
53 runs batted in, third on the team, over 300 runners in scoring position. And this one is hard on the ground. Nice job by Nicholson, and he got him. Cooper Nicholson just swallowed it up like a vacuum, taking dust off a floor.
Yeah, came here as a shortstop, and he plays third base like it. Look at the range to his left, square your hips, and fire a strike. A clutch play by the Tar Heel third baseman keeps this game 1-0 Rebels.
Well, on the mound, big number 5-0. Taylor Rabe gets the call to start game one. And he has been so far so good. He's got 5 strikeouts. He has walked a season high 3, but he's kept Carolina and their opportunistic offense at bay. We go bottom 5, and the Rebels lead at 1-0. Only 1 hit for the Tar Heels. It's going to be 8, 9, and then back to the top of the order as that first pitch sails high to Colin Heineck, followed by Carter French, and then back to Jake Schaffner. Shadows move towards mid left field now, and maybe in another half hour or so, it won't be so difficult to catch a ball out there. Rabe's pitch count goes to 80. And double barreled action. Calhoun and Waters, two of the, again, more effective high leverage guys for Mike Bianco.
They'll be playing catch here in these middle innings, but it gets in the later innings, it's going to be Walker Hooks.
Yeah, Walker Hooks has become the stopper.
Who can give you length. It would shock me if he got him 9 outs tonight. Definitely 6.
Throws it from the left side. 2-1 to Heineck. Six times this Carolina team has win 50 games in a year. They've had tremendous success away from home, 14-3 on the road. It's an .823 winning percentage. This one is on the ground to Pano at short. He fires to first for the first out in the 5th.
Talk about Rabe's fastball and the cutter and the combination. Watch glove side fastball that sets up the cutter too. What he's been able to do with it. So stick that fastball on the outside part of the plate. And this one looks like a fastball out of his hand, but just enough movement. Throwing it 88, 89, right in that range. But the cutter on that side of the plate, he's added depth a few different times to it, has been key, not just today, but really as the season has gone on. He has started and continued to use that cutter more frequently.
Pretty even across the board. As he gets set for the 9-hole hitter, Carter French. Two and 0.
I like this. He's kind of running away from his changeup a little bit. You can see when he finishes it, when he gets over the top of it, has that good arm side movement, has that good sink. When you run away with it, so you're a little bit quicker to home plate, that arm drops just a little bit. You don't have the ability to get over it. And I would assume that's exactly what Foley's talking to him about right now.
So did you take well to catchers giving you mechanical cues?
No, I told him to turn around and leave.
So you like it, yet you didn't.
But it's
like
important. No, it's important. Yes, I was addicted to it. What did I say earlier? Whatever it was. Yeah.
He likes it as long as it's not him.
Yeah.
That's right.
I just because I didn't like it doesn't mean it wasn't important.
Doesn't help.
I mean, I would appreciate if they didn't come out there, but sometimes they needed to.
Following behind the 9-hole hitter, Carter French, 2-0. And that is letter high fastball.
So A.J. Hinch would come out and you'd tell him to take a hike?
We had a few conversations.
Sure they did.
Yeah.
A walk-on who
respectfully
convinced Scott Forbes that he was all in as he was going to North Carolina to pursue a degree and become a doctor. And Forbes said, if you're in, I'm in, we'll give it a shot. He says, this is the biggest opportunity of my life. So this is a future doctor saying, baseball one more time, because he didn't really want to give it up. This is the biggest opportunity of my life. Used to go to bed 4 or 5 in the morning after studying, and he has drawn a walk. How about 4 walks for Rabe and the 9-hole hitters aboard, KB?
Jake Schaffner coming up here to the plate. This kid could have gone any different direction of sports in college. He was a great football player, also a great hockey player. You are a great hockey player when this is your backyard. Dad would build an ice rink. He still does, even though Schaffner no longer plays hockey. Ended up that baseball was his love and goes to North Dakota State. But man, that is a legit rink in your backyard.
Yes.
They both work on putting it up and taking it down every year because you know there's a lot of grass underneath there too that they can then play other sports on, including, as you said, football. But the fastball is in there for a strike to go with all the baseball that he played. By 2, he was on skates. He transitioned at about 15 to one sport, and he said it was hard. He wanted to play a sport every single season. Had a chance. He thought about University of Wisconsin for football after he got an offer, but it was baseball that had his heart. And then his dad said he had to pretty much beg for a scholarship.
Well, what's really interesting is talking to the coaching staff about him, and Scott Forbes saying, you know, they weren't really sure how talented he was. They needed a shortstop. They liked his film. He checked some of the boxes. They weren't, and he said after about the first week of hitting the ground balls, like, I think this kid's going to play in the big leagues.
Yeah.
It didn't take long before they were super impressed with his opportunity to become a real guy.
You know how there's those guys you played with that you see him play once and you're like, And then you see him play for a week or two and you're like, that's pretty good. And then you see him play for a month and you're like, I want him playing behind me every single day. He kind of feels like one of those guys.
Well, and you know, not the flash of a Justin LeBron like we have in this tournament at shortstop that we will see tomorrow, but there's a dependability about his game that makes you think he could play for a while.
0-2, a little high.
There's also the piece of northern climate, multi-sport athlete.
Yep.
He's gotten way better year over year.
Playing one sport.
That's
now.
right. And there's a real good chance that 3 years from now, he's even a more dynamic player than the one we see today.
Got a chance to play in the summer for the Hyannis Harbor on the Cape. Takes another one. He came to Omaha in 2019. Had some friends on the Michigan team. But again, North Dakota State was the only scholarship the kid at the plate had as an offer. 2-2, and this one is lifted to center field. This is sending Federico back. Now he camps, and he's there to make the play. Tagging and going to second, and diving in head first aggressively and smartly is Carter French to get into scoring position.
Love it. You got to be able to do that here at the Chuck. A lot of fly balls, you're going to go out there and parachute, and as soon as you know Federico is going to camp under this ball, you got to get yourself in scoring position. And now in a one-run game, you give Gavin Gallagher a chance to tie it up. You see Carter French there waiting for that ball to be caught. That's a very long throw for Federico to make. How to win awareness right there by the Tar Heels. Federico not really expecting that tag up right there. Nice job by Carter French.
Gallagher looks at strike one. He went 0 for 12 in 2024, 0 for 14 so far, as you see in 4 games at the College World Series. We'll see. Remember, Armani Guzman basically stole a run in the earlier game today, and part of that was taking second on an error on the first baseman. And he really ran himself around the bases, including a straight steal of home. So a play like that to get to second base from French could prove to be very important. Another 1-1 pitch, and before he throws it, he looks French back. .95 pitches, KP.
Yeah, I would not be surprised if this is his last inning.
Well, and there's a gap to bat. We've talked a lot about Owen Holt, but Gavin Gallagher has been Mr. Clutch in his career at North Carolina. He's had some incredibly big hits in his 3 years as a Tar Heel, and so Mr. Rabe has his hands full right here to get off the field. Certainly doesn't want to face Hull, but he better make a quality pitch here to get Gallagher.
Chapel Hill Regional Most Outstanding Player as a freshman and sophomore, and that's outside. 2-2. 25 in the regionals. He was just, you couldn't get him out. He had 722. He had 13 hits. It was a joke. And he's looking for his first hit of the College World Series. Try to tie this thing up. 2-2. Got him to chase a slider. And if it was Rabe's last, it may have been his best slider all night.
That's about as good a one as we've seen today, and it was what he needed to dial up. Neat swing and miss, just bury that cutter down and away, added depth to it, got Gallagher out in front, keeps it a 1-run lead.
We are back as you look down at Charles Schwab Field. This is day one of the College World Series. 8 teams, 5 of them out of the Southeastern Conference, a conference that has claimed the last 6 World Series titles. We're in the top of the 6th inning, and the first pitch from Jason DeCaro is down for ball 1. We'll see if it was Rabe's last pitch. Will he face Owen Hull for the 3rd time? He has struck him out twice. Will the score be 1-0 when that decision is made? Will Furnace, and he does get the call right there at the bottom. The home plate umpire is Derek Malika, doing a terrific job. Ryan Miller's out there at first. Mark Wagers at second. Brandon Cooper is at third.
Brandon Cooper from Louisville, Kentucky is at third. We got to add that.
I'm sorry, I should have said that.
That's right. Nobody's shaking his hand, KP.
What was it, a speaker? Nobody grabbed? Is that what that is?
More reggae, more reggae. This one is lifted to left field. Howe is going back, still going back, stops. About midway onto the track out there. And Furnace is retired.
We've seen a few balls hit in this ball game that probably get out of quite a few of the ballparks these two teams play in during the regular season. That is part of the story here at Charles Schwab.
On a night like this.
Matters.
Yeah, on a night like this, too. The weather and the forecast for the foreseeable future actually has temperatures as opposed to what we usually see mid to upper 90s, 70s and 80s, with the wind potentially blowing out, which makes it a completely different world that we would be calling games in.
That's what they saw yesterday in BP.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a lot of guys at batting practice like, hold on, everybody's told me about how big this place is, and they were running them out of here.
Berkey came up and said Aiden Robbins launch piece. He had like 40 homers.
It was a launch fest. There was balls going a long way.
Georgia can do that. That's our game tomorrow night. Oklahoma and Alabama, our first game tomorrow. 1 hour later tomorrow night, 2 for the start instead of 7 Eastern at 8 o'clock Eastern time. Saturday night in Omaha. 0-2 to Becerra. He loaded up on the green tee, and we're locked and ready to go back out there.
Yeah, it doesn't look like he's done.
The numbers from our buddies at True Media suggest he actually gets better and stronger the 3rd time through the order. Just off. And it's not like the numbers are bad, by the way. He's 200 batting average against. Then the 2nd time's 257. The 3rd time it's back to 208.
Struggle.
DeCaro got Becerra to chase after 1. He's gone. And 7 strikeouts for Jason DeCaro. Game 5 of the NBA Finals tomorrow night at 8:30 Eastern time on ABC, up 3-1. I mean, if you watched the game the other night, you figure the series is over. The Spurs just threw up on themselves.
Tell us how you really feel about it.
Well, it was, as Charles Barkley would describe it, I mean, just an abomination of Spurs basketball late. However, they have to go back to San Antonio. Maybe they can protect home floor. NBA tip-off gets things started at 8. You can watch it live or stream it anytime on the ESPN app. 107-106, OG Anunoby sent New York off.
I was not sure if you were going to go like all the way there, and you did.
You went entirely there.
Well,
yes.
what did you think?
Well, actually,
not great.
Yeah, I know, but I knew you were going to go all the way.
But
there.
I mean, what did you think of the performance?
Yeah. Well, I'll tend to focus on Jalen Brunson and the Knicks. That was pretty special. You've covered the other side pretty well.
I think we're still in the baseball game, boys.
Yeah, unless Ole Miss has taken it to the level where we do that when you're coming out.
Yeah.
Which, if that's the case, after our game, can we get that?
Kyle,
he's
the
doing it mid-game.
No.
Why can't we?
Don't ask. The answer is no.
Mid-game.
Been really impressed with DeCaro's stuff in this ball game. I mean, he just screams big league fourth or fifth starter, doesn't he? I mean, he can shake the baseball. He fills up the zone.
As you said, he posts, which may be as valuable a quality as any.
Good take there, by the way.
No question. Yeah, and in today's game, if you can give them 5 quality innings, you get a chance to play this game for a long time.
3-1. It was a changeup Federico took, and now that's down. He's proven to be as effective as anybody in this lineup. There is getting on base. He's been on twice tonight. He's drawn a couple of the walks. And now Payno, who they're hoping can kind of find his stroke. There was a time during the season where, you know, for about a week and a half, he was a guy offensively.
Yeah. Well, the do factor's pretty high, and the talent is there. So he's certainly capable of running into one.
Another cold weather climate kid out of New York in Poughkeepsie. But 2 strikeouts tonight, 2 for his last 23. Laced that one past the dive of the shortstop Schaffner. Federico heads to third. The throw is not in time. Second base, diving in with his hand is Owen Payno. And he breaks out of that 2 for 23 with his 6th double of the season.
The do factor strikes again. It was just a matter of time. A kid with a move this pretty was eventually going to run into one. Gets a fastball in the inner third and absolutely smokes it back through the box. And I love this base running, KP. First to third, Payno runs right in Hall's face.
Love the base running, but you can't throw that ball to third base. There's no reason to throw the ball to third base. Because on his break, he's going to be safe the entire time. The only thing that allows to happen is for Payno to now end up at second base, and you get something on the outfield green right now. It's going to score 2 instead of 1.
Yeah, it's both things, right? It's the poor decision by Hall, but then Payno anticipating, correct, hey, if this dude throws it to the wrong base, I'm gone, and taking advantage of that. Again, we talk about a game that feels like it's going to be lived on very slim margins. The Rebels are making those plays right now.
Right. Well, that's a big decision you see right there, is that Caden Glauber is up. Anytime Caden Glauber has come into a game for Carolina, they've won that game. The team is 10-0 in the games he appears in. He's getting quick to get hot. Single and advancing on that throw, Payno, so it's second and third. Now they do have a guy that has struggled with runners in scoring position and 2 outs, and that is Austin Foley. Two big runners on in a 1-0 game here in the 6th. Outside, ball 1.
Still would be careful out in center field, man. There's a lot of swing and miss for Foley, but he can also run into one and drive it a long ways. Hole's still playing pretty shallow out there.
Paulson's the only defender on the right side of the infield. He goes with an outside pitch and he hits it foul. Well, we've seen bloopers and stuff. That was not a blooper off of the bat of Payno. That was 101 plus.
No, a great at bat by Federico, which set it up, and now the Rebels have a chance to extend the lead.
And now DeCaro is a strike away from getting out of it. Austin Foley, 39 RBI. Chases up top. DeCaro pumps his fist. Well, he threw a complete game his last start, and that was a complete fastball to get out Foley and strand 2. Raves coming up. And he has allowed 7 extra base hits in the 3rd time through. Another chance for Carolina.
inning. Scott Forbes pulling all of his hitters around as Taylor Rabe comes back out for Ole Miss, telling everyone, I need you just to slow yourselves down, slow the heartbeat down. When he gets back out there, watch for the fastball. But if you're going to sit off speed, you got to be able to recognize that.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much, Chris, and arguably the biggest plate appearance of the game for Carolina to this point, with their best player, their fastest player, Owen Hull. Rabe's last pitch was a slider, may have been his best. It was to Gallagher, who struck out. 6th strikeout for Rabe. Here we go.
As good as a hitter as Owen Hull is, he's clearly had struggles here in first 2 ABs. This screams an adjustment right here. You see Rabe slowing him down to start the AB, 85-mile-an-hour changeup.
One ball, 1 strike. And a promise to his mom he'd finish his education. He again had that very structured childhood. He tried everything. He's an Eagle Scout. Mom and dad are both black belts.
Him too.
That's outside. His project was actually to build batting cages. He built 2 batting cages in Brenneman Park in Alexandria, he told us yesterday.
An Eagle Scout? I can see the batting cages.
Eagle Scout. Yep.
Okay.
Not easy, obviously. And this one is lifted to left. It's fairly deep. Pacetta going back. Say goodbye. Hull hits it out of here. Captain Clutch, who had the 4 doubles and thought his last double to get him here was out of the park, now has one go out of the park. His 8th of the year, and we are tied at 1. Eagle Scout.
Special dude right there.
That's the advantage of building yourself a batting cage. Take swings like that.
Now making Winslow. And that fastball is poured in at 94.
And we just talk about the ability to make an adjustment. And most of his ribbies have come off knocks, not homers. But what a season he is putting together. 82 ribbies and now 8 home runs.
Slider to get ahead 0-2. It's very easy, of course, with hindsight, to say, all right, well, should the last inning have been his last when you give up the homer to Hull and face him for the 3rd time?
Threw a fastball in this inning at 92.
Yeah.
We haven't seen that yet. So, I mean, the stuff has definitely ticked down a few notches. That's the one he's going to lean on now. Going to lean on that cutter, but this wasn't a cutter, Burke.
Nah, it's a strong dude right here. Gets a 4-seamer, kind of middle. And again, the approach has been to let the ball get deep, but showing you his strength on a night where a lot of guys have had their hands. He rides it out of here to the backside with 0 problems. The barrel's in the zone and on plane early, and the Stars are out tonight as Owen Hull with just another clutch base hit.
You look at some of the teams, guys, here that have those gaudy team home run numbers. And, you know, North Carolina will tell you, look, we play in a park where if we played in parks that some of these other teams played in, we'd have a little more than the 80 home runs we came in with.
2nd fewest homers in the event.
Yeah.
Only West Virginia has hit fewer home runs, but again, they're capable of it. And I just love how Owen Hull, you talk about a guy that got a chance to play this game for a while.
Oh, yeah.
The ability to have the approach, knowing that you've had the string pulled on you a few times, but then the strength to ride it out of here to the backside of the ballpark, that was one impressive swing of the bat.
Grandfather, George, was a running back at Notre Dame. He credits his athleticism to his grandfather. Spent his freshman year to the grandfather in South Bend before he enlisted in the Navy to go fight in World War II. But he described his grandfather as a physical player with a lot of speed. He really, really seriously thought about declaring for the draft before coming to Chapel Hill. One other note on Hull, he could dunk a basketball his sophomore year of high school.
I can see that. 6'4". It's a big dude now.
Rabe has thrown 108 pitches now. This ball is smoked to left center. And now coming in and calling it is Bichetta. Watch out. Boy, Federico did not pick up Bichetta calling that and had to avoid him late.
Tristan Bichetta is not happy about it, and I don't blame him. Like, bro, it's straight away left field.
It's cutting back, too.
Yeah, and the wind's blowing the ball right back to me off the left-hander's bat. Like, we've been playing together a while. He calls it, he swings his arm, and I know Federico's the center fielder, but, man, that one could have gotten ugly.
Remember, Bichetta in left field tonight, often in right field. Look at the look from Ray because of the sun. But that fly ball off the bat of Paulson is going to end the night for Taylor Rabe. He will leave with 2 down in a 1-1 game in the 6th. The righty Hudson Calhoun called on from the pen when we return to Omaha. Pitch game for Rabe, who was out, having given up that home run to Hull. Very likely 2 future major league ball players. And now you got a righty who doesn't give up much at all coming out of that pen.
Nah, he's been good, man. He's been real good. Hudson Calhoun, a right-hander coming in. It's mid-90s fastball, cutter, slider. Throw some changeups to left-handers, but primarily those 3. And we kind of talk about this every year. You have like 6 arms that you really liked, and you're in a good spot, and it's about probably where Ole Miss is. The 6 or 7 they really trust. This is one of them right here.
He gets Cooper Nicholson with 2 down, and the base is empty. And that first pitch is a slider, which opponents bat 143. Nicholson's had very patient plate appearances with a couple of walks.
There's that cutter right there from Calhoun. It's 88, 89 miles an hour. He throws it about as often as he does his fastball.
The next one on a 2-2 from Hudson Calhoun went fastball at 96.
Tell you what, man, Cooper Nicholson has had some nice at-bats tonight. 2 walks off Rabe.
Yeah, not short at-bats either.
No. I mean, he is really doing a nice job against premium arms.
Junior right-hander takes a deep breath on a Tupelo. That's perfect. He went with a curveball to pick up the strikeout.
You're going to win a heavyweight bout like this one, your stars better show up. And what bigger star is there for Carolina than Owen Hull? A bomb to left, and he's in the O-zone again, folks. We are all tied up at 1.
Well, boys, let's take a look at working on a win presented by the Home Depot. But first, you got to have the team meeting inside the dugout. Come on, boys, we're down. We need a bomb.
Good. Got to give the home run sign.
Send Hull up there.
Give the home run sign, and he got it.
Let me tell you when you have a meeting, Rav, when your best hitters do up first.
That's a great idea.
Yes.
Right.
Smart coaching.
Team's in a losing slump. The worst team in America is coming into town. Let's have a team meeting.
That's it. Never before the opposing ace, though. Don't do that.
Now Braden Randall leads things off by hitting one on the ground, fielded cleanly in a shift, and just like that, 1 up, 1 down to get the 7th rolling. Give DeCaro a ton of credit off of his complete game, and tonight 8 more strikeouts, nearing another 100-pitch outing with 1 out in the 7th. What do you think the thinking would be with Glauber in a tie game this late in the game? Yes is the answer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Especially in this format. I mean, in this format, you almost don't even have to think about it, right? Because you especially at this point in the ball game, you know he can pitch again on Sunday if you need him in that one as well.
That extends even further to Wednesday if you get the 2nd win.
The point being, there's zero thought about putting him in this game. It's just a no doubter.
Really good pitch. 2-1.
I think the only question is when.
Yes,
right?
that is the only question right now.
That's the hard part.
But the eye test right now says the guy out there
pretty good,
doing just fine.
And he lands that one for a strike. It's 2-2. How about the postseason that Owen Hull is writing right now? What he did in that Super Regional final. 4 doubles, like nobody else was getting hits.
No.
He's smashing 4 doubles.
Well, the 2 stars of their postseason are shining the brightest tonight.
Yes.
I mean, DeCaro saved their season, and then Owen Hull walked it off to get them here. And both those guys are the reason this game's knotted up right now.
Gave up just a run back in the 24 finals. He's now got more strikeouts than he did that night. He's got 9. He had 6 back then. And it does feel like he's getting stronger and stronger. You look at the left side of the bracket, which we're on now. Troy moves to the elimination game Sunday, another loss for them, and the Trojans go home. It's Sunday at 7, the winner of this one against West Virginia. And Country Roads was ringing through Charles Schwab earlier today. Pitch 101. Touched on the significance, and that guy knows it as well as anybody. Since 1980, 4 teams won the title after losing the opening game. Said another way, all the others have won it by winning game 1.
Yeah, both these head coaches know it. They're going to fire every bullet they feel necessary to win this one. And man, it feels like we are set up for a classic here.
0-2, DeCaro. Just missed. Well, I think it started in St. Louis, right? With tarps off, and it has absolutely moved its way to
a lot of removed tarps out in left field right now.
1-2, good spoil on a filthy changeup.
You see Dom Decker just hanging on to foul that one off. And the boys are having a good time out left.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right using the term boys. There's a lot of them out there.
He probably played a doubleheader, maybe a tripleheader today.
Got to air those shirts out.
Yes.
Pretty good aroma out and left right now.
DeCaro trying to work through this 7th on a 1-2. Just down. Double and an RBI for Decker in the 3rd. 3 on the right side of the infield on a 2-2. He laces one into the gap in left center. This one gets down. Decker's going to go to 2nd. And he will stand there with another double. Dom Decker's been the best hitter tonight for Ole Miss. His 7th double of the season, and Mom incredibly proud of what she's seeing, Mom and Dad.
Yeah, Joe and Stephanie are loving this one. 2 doubles in the game for Dom Decker. And guys, the only way you work yourself to the fastball is you got to spit on the changeup. He's been trying to get him on the changeup. He spits on that one. DeCaro's like, okay, he's on the changeup. Let me go back to the heater. Gets a fastball out over the plate. And what a beautiful move through that left center field gap. Another big-time at-bat by Dom Decker, who is having himself a day.
Well, now you're getting into decision time for North Carolina because Glauber's ready. And you got the middle of this order coming up. Udemark due up next, who DeCaro has handled today. He's 0 for 3, and he really hasn't hit anything hard.
You just go right here, don't you? I mean, it's kind of a no-brainer, isn't it?
To go get him?
Yeah.
I wouldn't call it a no-brainer. No, I understand the guy down there has been really, really good every time they brought him in this year, but the guy on the mound's been pretty good tonight, too.
Scott Forbes' history tells me he's going to get him. DeCaro not happy about it, and Scott Forbes not worried about it.
He hasn't pointed down there yet. I think he will agree with you, but he hasn't pointed down there yet.
Yep, there you go.
Forbes wraps his arm around DeCaro. They go to the guy who's been lights out. Caden Glauber trying to put out a small little fire here with Dom Decker standing at second and 2 down. And DeCaro, coming off that complete game, does it again, delivers a gem. He'll get a rousing ovation. Will take a timeout in a 1-1 game. 2 down in the 7th. That's Capital One rewarding performance. And he backed up the CG with a really good outing.
It just kind of seemed like he got better, too, as the game went on. I mean, as this went on, and velocity kind of stayed there. He was 92, 94 pretty much the whole game. But I think from an approach standpoint, DeCaro showed you why he's been making weekend starts for the last 3 years. I mean, you just give him the ball, you look up in the 7th and figure out if you got to go get him. But you got to be thrilled with that outing if you're a Carolina coaching staff.
So the Carolina coaching staff got used to having a 17-year-old on the mound who left high school early, and now they turn it over to another freshman who has been outstanding.
This is one of the best freshmen in the country. I mean, Glauber has just been that good this year. The right-hander comes on. It's a fastball that's low to mid-90s, sits in the mid-90s. Slider's outstanding. Changeup is really good against lefties. Doesn't throw much against righties. So it's primarily fastball slider against the right-handers. They're good when he's in the game.
If you like
25-0 generally works, and that's what the Heels are when Glaubers come into a ball game.
Udemark hitless with runners in scoring position and 2 outs in the tournament. Can he deliver a big one here against a guy whose batting average against is 156 with runners in scoring position?
That thing's got a blinker on it. Yeah, I mean, that was a hard left at home plate.
Yankee fans remember Jeff Nelson used to throw that sweeping pitch. Frisbee way outside, and a good job behind the plate by Heineck to prevent it from getting back there. He's inherited 28 runners, only 9 of them have scored, and this guy's mission is to hit it over the wall. 44 in the last 2 years. His numbers last year and this year are eerily identical. 51 career homers, school record. Judd Udemark 2-0. Fastball at 95, and you can see Heineck behind the plate telling the freshman breathe a little bit.
Well, and the guy on deck is, again, their best hitter with runners in scoring position. So be careful that you just pitch around Udemark right here.
Good speed at second. Fastball, that's sliced into left field. That's going to bring in a run. Udemark delivers, and a rare miscue by Glauber. 2-1 Rebels. Udemark delivers one of the biggest hits of his career.
3-0 green light. Looking for a fastball, he got one, and it wasn't bad. I mean, it's down in the zone, and it's got pretty good sink to it, but Judd Udemark can catch up to a fastball, especially 3-0 if he's sitting dead red, and Berkey put the right swing on it right there.
Easy pitch to roll over. He gets down into his legs and rifles this ball into left center field, and you just love that he was ready to hit there in a 3-0 count.
96 from Glauber to Furness. Boy, that'll set you back on your heels a little bit if you're Carolina.
It's easy to look at those first 3 pitches as Utermark and think, well, this guy doesn't want any part of me. He's just going to put me on. But in 3-0, he locked in, and boy, what a big swing of the bat.
That's just a little bit down to Furness. That's a great point about Utermark, who breaks through with his first hit with runners in scoring position and 2 outs in the tournament to lock in 3-0 and rifle one into the outfield. 1-2 as he swung through a little slider. See the abilities of Glauber with that 97 with some movement on it. He and DeCaro were named perfect game All-Americans.
It's a veteran lineup, and as good as Glauber is, this group of seniors, KP, they've seen just about all college baseball has to offer. So you can tell Furness and Utermark are not sped up by the raw stuff of Caden Glauber.
He chased, and Glauber's filthy, but they left it in the hands of a freshman who threw one to a senior, and Utermark delivered elation for the Ole Miss Rebels. He plates Decker after his second double, and then on the other side, the feeling of frustration from DeCaro. 2-1, bottom 7 in Omaha. Shut down now as the excitement builds inside Charles Schwab. It's 2-1. We go to the bottom of the 7th. Before that, a reminder, you want your latest news, insight, in-depth analysis from the 2026 College World Series. Visit NCAA.com. NCAA.com, your official online home for all NCAA championships. Chris Budden on the field. Up here, Chris Burke, Kyle Peterson. I'm Carl Ravitch. And it is now in the hands of the relievers. And that first pitch is in there. Brett Mosley's gone into center field. He'll bat 8th. The setup moves from right to left field, and Federico is now in left field for Ole Miss. So Mosley into center field. Becerra to right, Federico to left. Calhoun's fastball is up and away, no swing. Braden Randall out of the game. Ooh, sword on Tyler Howe.
How that cut it. Just ran mid-90s off the plate with arm side movement, then come back with that. You can see the hand started right there. I think Howe thought it was a fastball, then the cut movement came in underneath the barrel.
Inside.
And now it just becomes, when do you go to Hooks? And he can get you 9 outs. He's definitely done that before, but Hooks on the left side of the screen right there, the left-hander who they trust so much at the back end of this bullpen.
Calhoun's 3-2 is wide, and after getting the lead, he walks the leadoff man, the 7-hitter, Tyler Howe. During the break, you were rewatching the Glauber last pitch, and
it is that changeup is
no thank you.
That is illegal in most states.
See what the bottom third can do here to try to get the Heels back even or on top. Colin Hynek. Bounced in, it gets away, and now into scoring position goes Howe. And this is a nightmarish start to the inning for the Rebels and Calhoun.
That's not a great pitch, but
No.
this is the one that's going to get Mike Bianco, because that's one that's got to be in front of him. And he's trying. I mean, obviously, Foley's trying to get out there and try to block that thing, but that free 90 right there is a big free 90. Nobody has to bunt right now. It's in the dirt, believe me, but he was not in a great position to get out and block it. Spits far enough away, and now that changes the inning.
He's trying to yell to one of his defenders out there, and Hynek fouls it off.
It looked like he was yelling at Decker.
Decker, 5?
Yeah. The second baseman. Just, you know, North Carolina does have 17 sack bunts on the season. 1-run game here. It wouldn't be out of the question. You don't know if he's yelling at Decker to be in a position to cover if they need him to, but that doesn't look like the adjustment they made.
He went into it.
Yeah. Oh, he didn't throw the pick, which is interesting. But yeah, again, this wouldn't shock me here, KP, if they go sack bunt right here to set up a runner to third and 1 out.
Interesting numbers on Calhoun. When he allows the leadoff hitter to reach, they score 50% of the time, which obviously happened in this inning. They do not throw down, but 90% of the time when he gets the leadoff guy, nobody scores.
17 sack bunts is a year, or as a club this year, but Hynek doesn't have any of them.
Udemark is on the dirt. He misses with that one.
Oh, put it on, took it off, and right there he was swinging. Now 3-1 count. Scott Forbes, you're probably thinking about a big inning right here.
Howe leads off second. Ball 4. Boy, back-to-back walks after grabbing the lead.
And now you're definitely getting a sack bunt.
You are, and now, sorry, continue.
No, I'd just be curious. Do they stay with Calhoun? I mean,
well,
it looks a little wobbly right now.
Here would be my decision.
Bianco's already made it.
We've made it. But the decision would be, who do you think could field the bunt better?
Sure.
If you think he's got a bunt, it's a 9-hole hitter, whether or not you want to bring the lefty in now. But
it looks like
he was not to the grass, and he had already pointed down. It will be Hooks' game.
He is on the hook and out of the pen. It's 2-1. Carolina in business. Men's College World Series is presented by Capital One. What's in your wallet? Sense there's going to be a lot of dollars in that kid's wallet, and probably these two. Udemark delivers the big hit off Glauber, who came on in relief after Hull hit a homer to tie it. Decker touched home to make it 2-1. But now the powder blue of Carolina has got something going. We'll have to see how Ole Miss defends what is likely going to be a Carter French sacrifice. They go to the sophomore who has been so instrumental in Ole Miss sort of bouncing back and getting to this point.
Yeah, Walker Hooks has been their most reliable guy in the bullpen. The one that they wanted to back end. He's worked himself into that closer role. 61 strikeouts against just 36 innings and 55 2/3. Control's been very good this year too for Hooks. Obviously now a situation where you expect a bunt. Hooks is a guy that really relies on his slider. See if he's more fastball heavy right here, just trying to get that out early and make sure he doesn't fall behind the count.
Here's French.
So from a bunting standpoint, you want to bunt this ball hard at Udemark because Will Furniss is going to run right down your throat. And if you bunt the ball at all up the first base side, he can rip that thing to Udemark and get the lead runner. So from Carter French's perspective, you got to get this ball down the third base line. See Will Furniss coming in there. That is an aggressive veteran first baseman who has done bunt coverage defense his whole career. He knows what Mike Bianco's told him, which is if this bunt is at all middle or up the first base side, throw him out at third.
Very Anthony Rizzo-like with the Chicago Cubs in his crashing. Here he comes again. Doesn't get it down. Doesn't need to. It's 2-0. Cole Calhoun walked both Howe and Heineck, the 7-8 hitters in the order. Puts it down. They got a chance. Furniss, no.
Right decision.
Yes.
Right decision. And a good job, too, to stay under control enough where you look to third base, you understand you're probably not going to get him there. Even if it's a perfect throw, I don't think you're going to get the lead runner. But Furniss then enough time. Watch him check. Immediately knows no and spins in. He's got plenty of time to make sure he gets you out.
Really helpful you have a good runner, Howe, at second base there, because if you don't have a good runner, I think Furniss would have taken a shot, but he takes the sure out, and now the Rebels are going to play it back in the middle here with a one-run lead.
Leadoff hitter Schaffner, 0 for 3. Will not chase that slider.
Schaffner's going to have to hit a slider. Left on left, that's what Hooks will lean on right here, especially in a spot where he's thinking swing and miss.
You get into Gallagher and then Hull with a homer, but combine those two are just 1 for 6. In fact, the top of the order is 1 for 8. This ball is lifted up in the air. Is it deep enough? Remember, Bissett is over there now. He's got it. He throws home. Here it is, and it's cut off. Oh boy, cut off by Furniss, and we are now tied. Howe scores from third.
Is it offline enough?
Yeah, I think we're.
You got no chance if you cut and throw. You got no. The only chance you've got is to let it go through, and obviously a good. You talk about the speed of Howe getting from second to third. Now it sets that up right there, but. The minute you cut that ball, you got no chance throwing out.
It's got a lot of left-handed tail on it, KP, and Furniss's job is to line himself up exactly with home plate. So he knows if this ball is to his right, it has no chance to be on line. Look, he's right.
Yeah. He made the right call.
That's right. That's right. He knows that ball
was moving, so you could already see forward.
Too. That's right.
So a brand new ball game and still runner at second base for Gallagher, who chases there. Righties have really struggled against his changeup, just 0.96.
We'll go back to Schaffner for a minute too. Maybe we were talking about the growth of the kid and all the things. But you just know the spot. You know you're going to get a slider. He got one elevated enough. Hit it deep enough. Do your job. Tie the ball game. Baseball player.
Yeah, just the situational baseball. Get a bunt down. Not a perfect bunt, but good enough, right? And then you get a ball elevated, get it to the outfield, and you got a brand new ball game. Just Udemark with a 2-out base hit. Like, this is 2 championship caliber teams executing on the biggest stage.
Gallagher, it's up the middle. He drives in the go-ahead run in Heineck, and the bottom of the order and now the top have delivered. The Heels are on top.
I don't know if Scott Forbes told him to sit on the changeup, but that's what you call a good offensive timeout right there. And Forbes pressing all the right buttons here in this inning, and his team making him look really good. Gavin Gallagher, we talked about it. Mr. Postseason comes up with another big hit. A little talk right here. Maybe we're lightening the mood. Maybe we're talking approach, but he gets a changeup out over the plate. Smokes it back up the box at 111, y'all. Just a rocket into center field. Carolina with a 2-spot, and boy, are they in the driver's seat now.
Saw that graphic. He had been hitless the College World Series, Gallagher, and all of a sudden he delivers the biggest hit he's ever had. A big answer after the go-ahead run in the 7th, and now 2 for Carolina. And Hull already with a homer. And the bat gets very comfortable. So boy, Glauber gives up a run, and here you go with the bullpen stopper Hooks, and he gives up a couple.
But now if you're Carolina, you're looking at it saying now Glauber has the lead.
And he's maybe settled in.
Yes.
It is interesting.
And they were Calhoun's walks, in fairness. It wasn't Hooks.
No, that's right. But the stuff has looked a little shaky. The slider to Schaffner wasn't really good. You know, he leaves that changeup up enough for Gallagher to hit it. It is interesting. We've seen Glauber and Hooks now come in the ballgame, not with their A+ stuff to start.
Well, that's what Carolina did to get here, and obviously Hull delivered the big hits, but all year long it hasn't been the long ball. It's been manufacturing these runs. The walks, the sacrifice fly, and then the RBI and a hard hit ball by Gavin Gallagher. A lot of belief in this team. Scott Forbes has instilled it in them. He'll give you a lot of Nick Saban quotes, Bill Belichick quotes. There's a lot of Forbes isms, if you will, that he borrows, and he acknowledges how much of a fan he is of guys like Saban. Roy Williams, of course.
Well, he sat next to Mike Fox for a long time. I mean, the great North Carolina head coach that brought him to the finals 2 straight years, really got this Carolina program going when Scott Forbes was an assistant. Now he's taken over the reins and brought him here a couple times.
Hooks comes to the plate, 1-2. That one is on the ground. It's fielded over there by Decker. And Hull is retired. Oh boy, we've seen a couple of meetings pay off. He had the team meeting, and that worked, and then he has a one-on-one meeting, and apparently that worked too. Gavin Gallagher stepped up and delivered a rocket. And with that, he's delivered the Heels to a lead. 8th inning coming up here in Omaha, 3-2 North Carolina. Well, we had a great earlier game, won by West Virginia over Troy, 7-5. Another real close one here, and that bottom line kind of says everything. 46-0 when leading in the 7th inning or later. And in games that Glauber has pitched, and he is now, as he gets a ground ball and a one-out pitch and out.
When Glauber came off after the 7th, he came into the dugout. The first thing he did, he went up and he found Scott Forbes. He had a talk with him, and then he sat down. Brian Gaines came up to him, pitching coach, and just said, listen, it happens to everybody. You have to let it go, trying to build some confidence back within him. And you talk to this staff, I mean, Coach Forbes will say his maturity is off the charts, considering like he should be graduating high school this weekend.
Yeah, again, a lot of the similar situations. And we got 46-0, and now we got 25-0 when he appears in a game. And Carolina has acknowledged, like, that's how we have to do things here. Find the pitchers, even if they're going to be able to come out of high school a year early, and have them stay, like DeCaro did. And
both of them today.
Exactly right.
I mean, DeCaro did it. Now you get Glauber coming in right after. And
if you're ready physically and emotionally for that jump, it's actually a great play because, like you said, KP, and he's 20.
He is 20. I confirmed that. Yes, I was right.
As did I. Wasn't nothing me. But you're not at all worried about being old in the eyes of professional baseball after 3 years of college, like some are that are actually older freshmen.
Right.
Some kids come in at 19, 20.
Remember, he started his last game. He gave him 7 1/3, 3 runs, 6 hits, 11 strikeouts. That one is in there. It's 2-1. And it was as important to start as they've obviously had all year.
Yes. Yeah, they went back to back. I mean, DeCaro starts game 2, then Glauber starts game 3 and goes deep into it.
Boy, have they positioned their defense well in this inning. One up the middle to Schaffner, and then one to the only guy standing there on the third base side in Nicholson, and there are 2 quickies.
It's just, go ahead.
No, I was just, if your confidence was a little off after giving up the lead, you get 2 runs by your boys and then 2 quick outs.
Yeah,
it's easy to.
He doesn't look like he's lacking in confidence right now. What I was going to say is it feels like if you're Ole Miss, you got to run into one. This stuff right now, the way the freshman looks, getting 2 or 3 hits in an inning does not look like an easy thing to do against this right-hander right now.
Yeah, and that was a great shot and a good story there from Chris about the impact of Gaines going over and saying it happens to everybody. Before their series last week, Gaines made that point to all of them, and there's one on a line that's going to get down, and Pano is aboard, and maybe, and Pano's bat has woken up, fellas, a single and a double tonight.
The undefeated do factor strikes again.
That's it. Oh, wow, what a shot.
Pretty good evening now.
And that is the mighty BKP with the figures of all the people over there. Bob Carey Pedestrian Bridge. Right over the mighty Miz. A lot of the ESPNers take their morning walks over it. They get set for a great day, and that's exactly what we've had. Turned into a great night. Can Foley deliver?
Outside.
Slider is out just to finish the point. So Gaines had said to the team, like, we prepare. You know, you hear process a lot in this game. Like, trust it. They're going to hit us. That happens in this game. But if we follow what we do, we're going to win way more than we lose. And you saw that from Glauber in his last start. And maybe we'll see it today after giving up that big shot.
I think some of it, too, is to remind him this is your game. I understand this is your ball game.
They got a chance here. They got Foley and then 8-9 in the order. Boy, that's a rising fastball at 97.
Well, he landed the sweeper the pitch before, right? So if you start getting those 2, you start landing that breaking ball and then climb the ladder at 97. Boy, does that put those Ole Miss hitters in a bind.
Well, now he puts the blinker on again. Let's see if he can hold up on a slider.
It's outside.
Great take.
Great take. Just for what, about 45 feet? That was a strike right down the middle.
And a ton of late horizontal on that pitch.
Same one, and it's a little better. Big strikeout. Glauber gets through the 8th with just a single. They strand one. We go bottom 8, and it's a 1-run lead.
Well, for the kid that should still be in high school, he looks like he belongs on this stage right now. One of the best freshman arms in the country holds that Carolina lead to the bottom of the 8th. The Tar Heels lead it by 1.
To Sports Center, Nicole and Michael. Nicole Briscoe, Michael Eaves, player of the game, will join Sports Center. The Miz Magic, he breaks another record. Yeah, Jacob Mizorowski, I told you guys, threw a pitch 104.5 miles an hour. 104.5. The Jordan rules. Alvarez had 2 homers in the first inning. And they'll get you an update on the World Cup game where the U.S. has an early lead against Paraguay. Back here, bottom 8. The Heels up a run with Glauber looking filthy on the mound. It'll be 4, 5, and 6. High fly. Bichetta has called it, and no one is near him, and he doesn't have to worry about it. There's 1 down. Robert was telling us yesterday all of his buddies are going on their senior trip. You know, so his senior trip is to Omaha.
Not bad.
He does say, you know, there's a tiny bit of, you know, like, yeah, it'd be nice to do that, but by the way, no other, you know, high school senior basically is doing what he's doing. This one is pulled, and it's going to go foul. And he said so many of his friends do go to the games and support him. So he's got that going for him. And a pretty bright future if this continues. He can make up for the senior trip another time.
He can pay for a few senior trips here pretty quick, I think.
I think he made the right decision.
I think he's just fine.
And that's a good one there from Hooks. Paulson and then Nicholson. On the other side, when we get there, it'll be 8, 9, and then the top of the order for Ole Miss. And you can see that shield that I talked about right there on that necklace. His dad, detective with the New York Fire Department. He's gone on an inside pitch. 2 down here in the 8th. You can see him tell Cooper Nicholson, yeah, that's a changeup, and I didn't have much chance for that.
Yeah, left on left. That's tough. Pretty good one there. Just ask him not to throw that one.
When you got the hitters sticking their palms up in the dugout, you threw a pretty good pitch.
That's the, you told me he didn't throw left on left changeups. The time we just talked about that, but he did. He did it right there.
Bad scouting report. And these guys now, while Nicholson hasn't scored, he does have 2 walks tonight, which again adds pitches to the arms of the guys out there for Ole Miss. This one's going to get to the seats. Howe has a walk and scored a run. Heineck, of course, in the last inning. The walks have played a big role in this game.
2 of the 3 runs that have scored.
Yep.
In fact, the only one that wasn't a home run. Hull hits a home run. The other 2 runs that have scored both reached via the walk.
Rabe actually was able to pitch around his walks, but the Calhoun walks really came back to bite him.
I got you, Phil.
On the 1-2, he will not chase. 2 balls, 2 strikes. A little signal from Foley, a fist to throw a big one here, and ouch, he drilled him. That was not the pitch that Foley wanted, and Nicholson will reach after getting hit. So that's the 3rd time that he's reached. 2 walks and getting drilled.
Yeah, he's just done a fantastic job tonight. He's fallen behind a bunch, but put together some really, really good ABs and found his way on the sack. And this is a well-positioned body armor right there, KP.
Not necessarily the intended reason that you use it, but it worked out pretty well in that case.
House had a good night at the plate. A walk, a run, a single, and behind 0-1. Now one's down. When you talk to Scott Forbes about his team, you know, the words he uses to describe them are tough. He said it took us about 20 games in. I figured out I had a really tough group and a really close group. He did say they're a little bit wild, like fun. You know, fun.
Yeah. College-y.
Yeah, very exactly.
Need some of those.
A lot of times the fun teams play the longest. They don't want it to end.
Sure.
Those are good adjectives to describe a group that typically plays for a while. They certainly pulled off an epic comeback to get here.
I think about teams that recently have won this thing. I think that Tennessee team had a blast all year, didn't they? 2-1 on a play. LSU had Skeens, but they had some characters on that team. You have to have that. You go to the major leagues. I recall the 2004 Red Sox had a nickname.
Yeah.
Bunch of idiots.
They were boring.
They won.
Yeah. You got to have a few.
2-2 to Howe, and he drops one into left field. To third base, it's fielded out there, and Federico's throw not in time, and they got something cooking here in the 8th to try to tack on. Boy, Nicholson and Howe have been thorns.
One of the question marks about this team all year long was there enough length to the lineup? Could they do things on the back end of the lineup to produce offense? And man, has that group answered the bell tonight.
Single, a double, a walk for Tyler Howe in the 7th spot. And Colin Heineck, who walked and scored his last time up, will be next up for Carolina. Glauber feels almost invincible with a 1-run lead. You don't want to allow another one in.
This is a big spot for Ole Miss right now. Keep it a 1-run game. You can still run into one and tie it, but not an easy proposition if you got to put a crooked one up against Glauber in the top half of the ninth.
He did tell us a funny story, did Scott Forbes, about Colin Hynek. He described him as a baseball encyclopedia. Like, he could literally tell you every statistic, player from his favorite teams and from teams he probably doesn't consider his favorite. And he's the guy that knows baseball encyclopedia. I got runners at second and third, a 1-run lead here. This is a good time. This is a really important time to deliver a big hit.
Add a little something to my page.
Exactly. At 55, runs batted in on the season, and 2 big ones out there in scoring position. And that one is deep to left field. Did he do it? Yes, he did. Colin Hynek, a 3-run blast to blow it open. They're none bigger from the man who's a baseball encyclopedia. 10 homers now on the season, and it's 6-2 Heels. Fellas, Nicholson, Howe, and Hynek. The story tonight offensively. Another one to left field. This one looks like Federico will have room to make the play. All right, we just mentioned how important those runs were. This guy and this team, when he throws, are 25-0. Chances are pretty good. It's going to go to 26.
Ready for the first pitch, and he gets a hanging slider and absolutely covers it to left field. A slider just begging to be launched, and the Carolina veteran did just that. A moment that he will never forget. The dugout loses it, and that feels like the nail, boys. The Revs still have one chance, but what a mighty swing of the bat to push the lead to 4.
So Glauber now has a big cushion, and he will get a pinch hitter in Luke Romine, and he is just going to throw as many strikes as he can, and that first one lands to go 0-1. On the ground, oh, just off the glove, it looked like, of Gallagher. Just looked like the lip may have impacted that ball, but a hard hit, pinch hit, single for Luke Romine.
Okay, Luke Romine, I see you. Come in off the bench, and not a ton of plate appearances this season, but that's making the most of it, and now he'll give way to a pinch runner.
Yeah, their fastest runner out there is Cannon Golden. We saw him during the regionals in Lincoln. So Golden in for Romine. And Reuter, the 9-hole hitter. Strike one. Dom Decker, a couple of doubles is on deck. If Reuter can get on, then you start to think you might have something. But 95 makes it 0-2.
Game feels a little different with a 4-run lead when the leadoff hitter reaches, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Gallagher moves to the left side. We got 3 over there, and he will not chase that slider. They've done a good job of recognizing it and not chasing.
And he definitely recognized that one early. I mean, that one he followed all the way into the glove.
You know, Mike Bianco and Joe Mangrum are going to go back and talk through the decision making to leave hooks in the game. But at the end of the day, he's been your guy.
Yes,
for sure. And the right-hander was ready, but the game's on the line. You got your dude in the game. You trust him to get you out of that situation.
2-2 on the ground. This could be a double play. They flip it and they will knock it down. Schaffner to Gallagher. They turn it, and for Carolina, their 57th double play of the season, 4th most in the country. Now, in the end, you're going to remember the team meetings that Forbes had, both with the team and then individually. And
Both
certainly
productive.
Those 3 guys at the bottom of the order were difference makers tonight. Then let's not forget Owen Hall hit another homer. He had another clutch hit.
That's right.
And did it 2 at a time that nobody was doing anything off of Ray.
Yeah.
I mean, he'd only given up 1 hit at that point.
But that homer opened up the floodgates as they got 1 in the 6th, 2 in the 7th, 3 in the 8th. And Decker sends one to left. Going over there is Howe, and how about the hero tonight? He's there to make the catch, and the Tar Heels win their first 6-2 over Ole Miss. Glauber is a winner, 26-0 when he pitches for North Carolina.
Glauber will get the win, but Jason DeCaro was the main character on the mound tonight for North Carolina. Just another legendary performance by the Carolina veteran, and the offense, you got to give the back half of the order
no doubt.
all the credit offensively. What a performance by them.
But I think you got a game from a pitching standpoint with North Carolina. It's exactly the way they wanted to line it up. If you said it's DeCaro and Glauber, fine, we're going to take our chances. That ball game we're probably going to win. It just took a little offensive firepower to get to that point. But the 2 big right-handers were great all night.
Nicholson, Howe, and Heineck reached 8 times.
Incredible.
In 12 plate appearances.
Scored 5 times. 5 of the 6 runs from those 3 guys.
And Glauber only 30 pitches.
Yeah,
so
33 pitches. Yep.
He's good to go on Sunday. That's a dream scenario for North Carolina.
All right, we've played 2. We got 2 more tomorrow. They should be as exciting as today's were. But the winners, West Virginia, North Carolina, Sunday at 7 o'clock Eastern Time. Off day tomorrow. Troy and Ole Miss elimination game Sunday at 2 o'clock Eastern Time. And we got things rolling tomorrow at 3 Eastern with Oklahoma and Alabama, Texas and Georgia. So let's go down to KB.
Gavin, congratulations. We've called you Mr. Postseason the last couple years, but you're yet to get a hit on this field and now in 2023 until the 7th inning. What was your mindset in that at-bat?
I just want to say sorry for a second. First, it's my sister's birthday. Happy birthday to her. My whole family's here. I'm so thankful for them. Coming in here, I've been talking about it a lot, to be honest with you. A little upset with myself in 24, but we're on the board now and just trying to do a job for the team, and the gates are open.
It's Scott Forbes calls the timeout. What did he tell you?
He told me to slow down. I mean, that's what he always does. He's so good over there. His presence is so good. I got a little too big on the first one, trying to do too much. He just told me to slow down and, trust the approach.
You guys take the lead. What is the confidence level when you have Glauber to be able to finish it out?
Yeah, I mean, it's awesome. We love having him on the mound. He's got the awards, he's got the recognition, but, I mean, it's true. You see him get on the mound and, with a lead, everybody you take a deep breath and you play loose.
What's sister's name?
Reagan.
Reagan.
Happy birthday, Reagan.
Happy birthday. What a birthday present for her. Congratulations. We'll see you Sunday.
Sounds good. Thank you. God bless.
Hey, KB, thank you very much. Gavin Gallagher. He delivered a starring performance. His single in the RBA turned the tide in the 7th inning. And then there were the long balls and the clutch performances of DeCaro and Glauber on the mound. Carolina wins it by a final score of 6-2 for Chris Burke, Kyle Peterson, Chris Budden, Jimmy Platt stepping in, and of course Billy Palladino. I'm Carl Ravitch. The NCAA Men's College World Series rolls on tomorrow at 3. Thanks for watching, everybody. It's time for SportsCenter with Nicole and Michael.